There you go.
Why was...
It doesn't matter. Just...
Whoa.
That's what happens. There you go. There you go. It doesn't matter. Just...
Testing. Test. Testing.
Hey, whoa. Fuck that freaking out shit. Like, it's go time, okay? You can cry later. First. Hey! Look alive. Let's go. Let's do a sound check. All right. Go ahead.
Test.
All right. Yeah, just gotta remember that when you that's what you're doing. All right.
Yeah, real quick, yeah.
up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the first official edition of One-on-One with Donovan Sharpe. This is Season 1, Episode 1. Thank you all for joining us today. I am joined, of course, by the man, Myron. 5% body fat gains. What's going on, brother?
What's up, guys? How we doing? I'm happy to be here.
And yo, can you believe we're doing this shit?
I can't. We talked about it a year ago. Now it's actually happening.
Yo, I cannot believe this is happening. Like, we worked so hard to get this thing going. Then, of course, we had a snafu. I made Devin cry. It's been one giant bleep show, but we managed to finally pull this thing together. First off, thank you very much for making time to come down here, man.
Thank you for having me come, dude.
Absolutely,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it, man.
So let's go ahead and I'm going to ask you a question that one of my patrons actually asked you. And I guess the first time I have anybody on my show, my first question is when did you find the red pill? What was your red pill moment?
Yeah. So basically, for me, what happened was I had always known about these uncomfortable truths when it comes to intersexual dynamics, but because I grew up in a Muslim household.
Right.
My father was a leader. My mom respected him. She followed his lead. And, and then growing up as a kid, I remember my uncle, my father, they would always tell me, you need a woman that's going to follow your lead, not be promiscuous, and, obviously the Islamic traits, right?
Sure.
Because I grew up in a Muslim household. And I kind of knew this stuff as a child, but as I got older, I started to see why they told me these things. When I went to college as a teenager, and I saw, people just basically, it was just like rampant sex everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I kind of like had to figure it out what was going on. And I had trouble dealing with women when I was younger. I lost my virginity when I was 18 years old. So
wait a minute. Let me stop you right there. See that? Listen, this is what the black pillars jump on. Myron Gaines didn't lose his virginity until he was 18 years old. I knew he was a simp. I knew he was no good.
Exactly. Prom night too, to make it even more cliche. But
hey man, if ever there's a time to lose it, that would be it.
Yeah, prom night. So basically, and then I went to college. I was an athlete in college. I went to Northeastern University in Boston. I rode Division I there. And basically, as an athlete, I kind of got to see, because I always say college is like a miniature world, where social status, obviously there's athletes, there's frat guys, whatever. And that would be the equivalent to like being maybe a professional athlete or a celebrity in the real world. So I always say college kind of gives you a glimpse of how the world really works, especially with intersexual dynamics. Because the girls pretty much are dealing with the top 20% of guys, if not maybe even less. If you're not a frat guy or an athlete, it's going to be very difficult to attract women. So I saw that in college, and then after I got out of college, I went through a phase where it was like, obviously I was out, domain dependent at the time.
Of course.
So I had to kind of like relearn things, and then I went to Miami. I've been living in Miami now for almost 3 years, and that kind of makes or breaks you, man. If you don't figure it out in Miami, you're gonna take an L every single time. So yeah, man. It started, I would say, with my religious background and my family. My parents are still together to this day, and it confirms a lot of red pill truths, as we would say. To have a successful relationship, the man's got to be the leader. Your wife's got to respect you, or your girl, whoever it may be, and she's got to defer to your authority. It never works the other way around. And when you look at like the divorce statistics, you look at the single parent households, etc.
Yes.
It's very evident that if there's not a strong father in the home who's the leader, there's going to be problems. And we can look at all the statistics of what happens when children come from single parent households, namely single mother households.
That's right.
Keep it real.
There you go.
And yeah, your chances of becoming I don't know if we can swear, but a mess up are significantly higher. So
we're trying to keep it
YouTube
YouTube
clean.
friendly. Yeah, we're trying to keep it YouTube friendly. Now, go back to the Muslim background. A lot of guys in the red pill community, sort of a cliche is, hey, we got to do what Muslim guys do. Muslim girls never get out of pocket. And I know that living in America, I guess being a Muslim in America is much different from being a Muslim overseas. But speaking, I guess from a Muslim standpoint, living in the United States, are Muslim girls in pocket? Are they out of pocket? Are they succumbing to the girl power movement ways? What's going on there?
I mean, obviously it's the Islamic countries are getting more and more westernized. Abu American definitely, speaks about this all the time on his stuff. You guys should all check him out, Abu American on Twitter. But, what feminism and westernization is taking over. You know what I mean? It's slowly making its way even into the most grandfathered cultures. So it is what it is. I mean, things are changing. Obviously, I always say like the Islamic countries are about 30 to 40 years behind, but it is definitely coming.
God, yes.
So really the best thing I would say is that you can't stop it. All you can do is be prepared for it and acclimate to the situation. And the way to acclimate to the situation is you got to keep your masculinity in check. You got to be prepared, to lead the relationship. And quite frankly, if you buy into the, this egalitarian type thing we got going on right now, you're going to take an L, especially with your relationships, because despite what feminism says, women want to be led by a strong masculine male. There's a reason why 50 Shades of Grey is like one of the most popular books among women, like
the proof's in the pudding,
the proof's in the pudding, and let's look at the character that's the main one in the book. It's Christian Grey, who's a tall, good looking, affluent, male, and he's dominant. He's very dominant, and women get turned on by that because it's an innate instinct for them to follow strong leadership of a male. So as long as guys can internalize that, and basically not adhere to the BS of equality and all this other stuff within the confinements of a relationship. I'm all for women entering the workplace, making their own money, etc. But when it comes to a romantic relationship, it never works when the woman's in a leadership position. It's always got to be the man, because I always say, if a woman leads, she'll lead you to the end of the relationship. So, yeah.
Listen, I think, and what you just said is absolutely true. Donovan Sharpe, I am all for women in the workplace. I am all for women sleeping around. Listen, if you want to share your body with hundreds of men, by all means, baby girl, do you.
Yep.
If you're on a search for Christian Grey, please don't let me stop you. But understand that for every sequence, there is a consequence.
Yes.
You cannot have it both ways. Yes. On the other side of that coin, we as men, we can't have it both ways. We can't want to defer to a woman's authority, but then expect her to look at us as the leader. A lot of guys think, well, I want a woman to respect me as a man. But then you turn around and say, well, happy wife, happy life. My wife is the boss. It doesn't work that way. There is always a price to be paid. As far as women are concerned, you can go into the workforce. Just understand that the more material success that you achieve, the higher you climb that corporate ladder, the more you shrink your pool of potential suitors. By all means, go out, make your money, buy all the toys, do all the traveling, but at some point that bill is gonna come due. And that's what women have a problem with. They don't like the fact that there is a price to be paid.
Yeah.
Women from the ages of 18 and 28 have absolute power over men. They can have whatever they want. And Rollo says men are the gatekeepers of relationships, women are the gatekeepers of sex. But he also says from 18 to 28, women are the gatekeepers of both.
Yeah.
Because the hot 23, 24, 25-year-old, she can get easy sex, but there are also men who want to be in relationships with her.
Yep.
But then when she sleeps around with guys into her 30s, she finally realizes, well, I can still get sex out of these guys, but nobody wants to be in a relationship with me. In your opinion, why do you think women aren't putting two and two together, even though there is evidence all around us all the time that this isn't the way it's supposed to be done?
So this is interesting because I had this conversation with my sister about a year and a half ago, and she's in med school right now. And, I had to kind of sit her down and let her know, hey, obviously do your thing, become successful, make the money, everything like that. But you got to understand that there's going to be consequences to that. And what that means is you're going to, lock a guy down now while you're young and attractive, because when you get older and you make more money, you're not going to be able to do it, and the things that you find attractive in a guy aren't necessarily what men look for in women. And I'll make it even, let's add a little extra to it. The reality is this: guys that are super successful and make a lot of money, last thing they want to do is deal with another chick that makes a lot of money as well. You know what I mean? That's older. Right. They typically, guys bust their A at work so that they can make money to attract younger, more attractive women. That's a big reason why guys become successful, is to have access to more attractive women. Right. So, and unfortunately, older career women are not going to be able to compete with attractive 21, 22-year-olds. That's why you got Tommy Lahren crying on the internet saying, they're messing around with IG thoughts and bimbos, blah, blah, blah.
Tatiana.
But what she's slowly realizing is that she can no longer compete with these women for the same high-value men that they used to throw themselves at her 10 years prior, And that's just an uncomfortable reality that a lot of women have to understand. If you're going to become successful, your pool of candidates is going to dwindle with it. And your ability to, because women can't date down like men can.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So They just can't. So the reality is they just got to understand I need to lock down a guy when I'm younger and understand there's consequences to my success, which means I'm going to have a shrinking pool of suitable candidates that want me.
And Tommy Laren, however you call it.
Yeah.
And by the way, shout out to Terrence Popp. He did a very, very nice, he did a very good Tommy Laren video. He's going to be here in studio next week, so tune in next week at 3 o'clock. She's actually dating Jay Cutler. I'm told. Yes, Jay Cutler.
The bodybuilder?
No, oh God,
Oh,
no. The Jay.
I was like thinking about like the bodybuilder. What?
No, man. Jay Cutler used to play quarterback. He actually played 1 year in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Drafted by the Broncos.
Yes.
He has a look on his face like the way he looks like his mother just told him to go upstairs without dinner. Like that's what he looks like. One of the greatest arms I've ever seen. Anyway, so now she is dating, I guess, one of the worst NFL quarterbacks with some of the most talent.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ironic because Jay Cutler is so much more talented than, say, a Tom Brady. Tom Brady does not have a lot of talent. Yeah. He's slow. He has a weak arm, but he's laser focused. Jay Cutler came in with all of these physical tools. He could run. He could throw a ball through a brick wall. He just didn't have it upstairs. Well, Tommy Laren was the same thing. Clearly, she looks great on the outside. She just didn't have the mentality to handle a relationship. Pimped Out Geese with the $5 super chat says, damn, one-on-one, let's go. I appreciate that $5 super chat.
Thank you, brother.
Odin with the $5 super chat says, congratulations on the debut, one-on-one, Donovan and Myron. Very good.
Thank you.
Chris B, $5 says, shout out to Donovan and my boy Myron. Couldn't miss this. This looks clean. You know what? I'm actually kind of hating because I actually lined up my hair 2 days ago. Myron got his hair lined up today, right?
Yeah, I went to barber today.
See, that's the cheat code.
I had to struggle to find one, but I got one.
So Myron's hairline is just a little bit crispier than mine today. Chris Von Erich, shout out to him. $20 super chat says, studio looks great. Wishing you all the best, Donnie and Myron. You're a class act. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Red Sings the Blues with the $5 super chat says, donation to you too. No amount of money, says BK Stand Ard 88 with the $5 super chat. No amount of money a woman earns can make me hard. Nobody cares about women with careers. Let's talk about that. This actually goes to exactly what you said. Mm-hmm. Men of means, men who make a lot of money, men who are successful, men with clout, power, influence, they don't care about how much a woman makes. They don't care about what kind of influence they have. And that's the thing. Women do not understand that sexual attraction is not symmetrical. Sexual attraction is asymmetrical, meaning the things that turn us on are not the things that turn them on. Yeah. So why is it, and I know this is an obvious question, but I've heard you talk about this before, why do women not get it? Why do women think that we like what they like?
Well, because let's keep it real. Telling women uncomfortable truths about themselves is kind of like shunned in society nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, if you tell a woman something along the lines of, hey, you should probably settle down before you get older because it's going to be tougher, they're going to think you're a misogynist. They're going to think you're a chauvinist. They're going to if you tell a woman any uncomfortable truths about the sexual marketplace that are negative towards her, you're immediately going to be, someone's going to try to shut you down. Hey, we're banning you. You're going to be demonetized, whatever it may be. And the thing is that women need to learn these things early on. And quite frankly, a lot of the time they don't learn it until they get older when they're no longer getting the same attention from men. Now, with that said, am I saying a woman that makes a lot of money is unattractive? No, absolutely not. But what I am saying is that it's not going to carry the same merit towards her attraction level as it would for a man that makes a lot of money. You know, like women look for security and provisioning. Men don't. Like we're told from a young age, hey, you better go to school, become successful, etc. Because if you don't, you're going to become a failure in life. So men understand that there's a burden of performance from the day we're born.
Right.
Women, if women perform, that's awesome. But unfortunately, it's not what they're measured on from a sexual standpoint. So yeah.
Let me ask you this: you're a young guy. You just turned 30.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you two women. We've got Ashley and Brianna. Okay. Yep. Ashley, good-looking girl, 9 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Right. She's hot. She has a career. She makes $250,000 a year. She likes you a lot. She treats you well. She pays for everything. She wants to be in a relationship with you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Ashley's 32 years old, but she's hot. Okay. Then you have Brianna. Brianna's 23, but she works at Chick-fil-A, right?
Yep.
Now, Brianna's a little bit bitchy, right? Because she is a little bit younger. She's got men throwing themselves at her, but she's only an 8, right? And I know that I know this is really, really close, but in your opinion, which one of these, now, of course, we know the right answer to this question. Which one? The answer is yes. You plow them both, and then you sort of let them
exactly.
But gun to your head, if you had to be in a relationship with either one or the other, which one would be the better prospect for someone like you?
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, and some people might not like to hear this, but I would go with the younger girl.
Okay.
And the reason why is because in today's climate of relationships, as a man, you're going to have to basically train your girlfriend or your counterpart to basically be on your program. And what I mean by that is that she's got to be submissive and follow your lead. Younger women are going to be more impressionable for that. You know what I mean? And on top of that, if I want to have children, from a biological standpoint, she's going to be a better partner. You know, we all know it's scientifically proven. Once a woman passes the age of 30, every year after, the ability to carry a child to term becomes diminished. You know what I mean? So, so from a standpoint of me wanting to have children, have a good relationship with a younger woman that will be more likely to follow my lead, you got to go with the younger girl. Now, is that to say that the successful one that pays for dinner every now and then and makes $250,000 a year is a bad catch? No, she's probably an excellent catch. But at the end of the day, you know, women that are in their 30s, right? Because I've dated a few of them. Typically, they just have bad habits.
Yes.
Like a lot of them have bad habits, and it's honestly conducive to why they're single in the first place.
Okay.
And quite frankly, it's very difficult to train those bad habits out of them. They're not going to want to change. And then you have a girl that especially makes a lot of money, thinks, "Oh, I'm successful. I don't need no man," whatever it may be. You don't really want to deal with a woman like that, because you're going to be arguing and fighting with her more than you are, you know, having an actual relationship, because she's going to constantly challenge your frame.
Yes.
Especially is like, you know what I mean? And especially very successful women, they think that they can compete with you, which that's cool if you want that kind of relationship, but most guys don't, and it's going to get annoying after a while. So yeah, I would deal with the younger girl.
Okay.
To be honest.
Now, Devin, let me get you into this conversation, because I met you when you were 32. You are an older woman, quote unquote. When I met you, you made great money. You and I went to Hawaii, and you paid the entire trip. Like, it was, I remember you said, "Hey, you want to go to Hawaii?" I said, "If you're paying, I'm playing." And 2 hours later, you called me up and said, "Okay, we're taking this flight. We're staying here." That to me was fantastic. Talk to the younger girls out there, Devin. Girls that are 22, 23, 24 years old. Talk to them about how hard it is to break bad habits when you run up on a guy who actually knows what he wants.
Wow. It's extremely difficult. You need to let go of everything you thought was right and understand that a lot of it was wrong. And you need to be open to understanding where other people are coming from and what you actually want out of life, and the end result. What's it worth to you? What's it worth? Is it worth going out with your friends, you know, till 2 a.m, or is it worth having someone to come home to every night? You know, so I think from that perspective, just being older just kind of helps you realize that, like, life isn't endless, and you've really got to figure out what's important to you. And for some people, you know, instant validation and fun times, that's what it's for. Other people want a deeper meaning in life. So, you know, for me, it was definitely worth letting go of all of the instant gratification. And
why? Let me ask you that you read my mind. Why? And I don't need you to stroke my ego. You do that enough already. But why did you decide to allow me to literally just remake you? Because I took complete control of you. Why did you allow me? You barely even knew me. Why did you allow me to do that with you?
Because I knew what I had been doing and what my life was about wasn't working, and it wasn't making me happy. And I was ready for a change. I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't know what I needed.
Right. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good answer. Red Pill Mike with the $100 super chat says, "Every man I know, yes, that has said happy wife, happy life, never wants to talk about his marriage.
Facts.
They want to hear me tell stories about my life to escape the grim reality of the decision to commit to one woman who is controlling them while giving them nothing." Wow, that's funny.
Yeah,
happy
man.
wife, happy life. Well, tell me about your marriage, Jim. Yeah, I'd rather not.
Every married guy I know, man, is like miserable. You know what I mean? Because like they're
That's a
walking
shame.
on eggshells trying to keep their wife happy. And the thing is that the reason why they're walking on eggshells is because She's in lead. He's deferring to her authority. She's making the decisions. She's controlling, how the money, everything like that. And you're basically just a plow horse making the money to give it back to her. And she can't respect you, man. Like, the biggest thing is that guys got to understand, like, when you're dealing with chicks, like, they got to respect you first, man.
Yep.
Like, if they don't respect you, then it's gonna cause a lot of issues. That's why your wife doesn't want to have sex with you anymore, because she doesn't respect you. That's the problem.
Happy wife, happy life, right? Pimped Out Geese, $20, says, love the professionalism of the show. Fire studio, great talent, hardcore truth. Making RP history. Can't wait till next week. Appreciate that, Pimped Out Geese. Unique 79 with the 5 British pounds says, 2 heavyweights in one room. True champions. Salute, gentlemen. Thank you. Cam Gibson with the $5 super chat. It says, Myron is the man. The Miami versus Vegas was legendary. Yeah, remember that show? That was great.
People like that. Yeah,
that was awesome, dude. That was great. Let's see here. Blafrican. Wow. Blafrican 345.
These names.
Man, I swear to God, these guys are original. Says, love the professional setup. Yo, keep up the high quality work. Haven't heard that in a while. What's up, yo? Legend of Salmonia, $5. Says, peace to the duo. Let's go kill him with facts. Appreciate that. Clarence W with the 10 Canadian dollars. Says, I always flirt with cute cashiers, baristas. After always dealing with crap all day, it's easy to stand out and get numbers. I make enough money already. Thrillseeker says, talk to him, Dev. Thrillseeker just gave you some props there, Dev.
And that was not scripted, guys.
No, that was not scripted.
He literally just asked her, like, just now on camera. So
yeah, this is that's right. Well, I mean, listen, and that's the thing. And listen, Dev, I'm gonna bring you back into this, because this is what women are really, really gonna have trouble with, because it was very difficult for you at first, obviously because you had bad habits. But I want you to explain to them why this is not going to be easy. Anything worth having is not going to be easy. I said there was a lot of yelling, there was a lot of tears, but why did you stick with it, even though you wanted to shoot me in the face at times?
I think it's because my father was really hard on me growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like a discipline that I'm familiar with. And I knew that I've always known, because I have a background in athletics and things like that, that nothing good worth doing is easy.
Right.
And, it's similar to what you just said. And, if someone is giving you the world and you don't deserve it, you think shit about that person. You're like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, I literally know women who guys give them flowers and they're like, ew. So like, you're a guy who's never given me flowers. Okay, one time, Valentine's Day.
Hey,
3 years ago, there was one flower. It actually was a rose bush. It wasn't a flower, but anyway. But
I picked it. I picked those roses in the park. I stole them from somebody.
Yeah. But
get me in trouble here.
But the thing is like, what you work hard for, you appreciate. And I know that you're a man with options. You're a man who really like doesn't need me at all. But the fact that we both found ways to enlighten one another's lives is what makes it work and what makes it worth it. So I think that if you demanded a whole bunch of things from me and I saw no benefit from it, then I would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get me out of here. Like, that wouldn't work for me. So it's not just the fact that I was ready for leadership, but it's the kind of leadership that one provides that can really help a person grow and become more disciplined, and you guys can actually have something together.
Very good. Very good. So when this video gets the yellow dollar sign, that is Devin's fault, because she's the first to have dropped the F word. She dropped the F word. It's all good. I think I said the F word a couple times yesterday. What you want to add to that?
On Tommy Lahren one, we swore a little bit too, and it still got monetized.
Right?
YouTube picks and chooses what they want to monetize.
Man.
You could be on No Jumper talking about, going to Dubai and getting urine on you, but like no one demonetized that. But then you'll come in and talk about 37-year-old chick like can't find a guy. Demonetized.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable.
YouTube.
It is what it is. You have to deal with it that way. Rich Cooper's used TRT needle says with the $2 super chat, says these two are legends.
These guys with the names.
I'm telling you, man, that was crazy. He said he made a foot comment yesterday. He said something about like a foot fetish or something. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Appreciate the $5, but I don't really go down that like that. Don't go down like that. Facts with the 5 British pounds says, I want to see Steve and AMS in studio. You will be the referee. Facts. I can tell you right now that you is one of dim niggas, right? That's not what kind of show this is. I'm not doing niggatube. I'm not going to invite two guests who are going to sit here and fight and me referee. That's not what we do. I left niggatube over a year ago, and niggatube knows exactly who I'm talking about. I don't do that kind of show. If I have Steve on and I have AMS on, they'll be on separately because I'm not about confrontations. And let me ask you this, man. Why do you think that people like facts want to see people just squabble? People like the beefs and blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can shed some light on it, or maybe you don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, people just love confrontation. You know, there's a reason why drama, TV shows and drama movies always prevail. People always get them because people watch them. People watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, whatever, Love is Hip Hop, whatever it may be, because people love to see drama. People love to see conflict because a lot of these people live boring lives that don't have any type of ups and downs or excitement. So they want to see excitement through television, which quite frankly, if you're getting your highs and lows from watching other people fight, then you need to get a better life, dude, and do something else, man. So
I agree. Appreciate the 5 British pounds, but that's not what we do here at TSR Towers. Yeah. Then C, $5 says, loving this one-on-one in-person format. Keep it up, guys. Great debut. Thank you very, very much for that. We've actually got a few questions to answer.
Sure.
We had some questions. We have some questions that people called in. I'm going to have Devin queue those up here in just a little bit. But for now, I am going to go into... Give me a second. I know... Oh, there we are. I'm going to ask a few of these questions from my patrons. So now, Myron, before we start the questions, how did you get into fitness? Because you are like, dude, I don't know anybody who knows as much about the diet and fitness as you do. How did you get into it, and how do you know so much at the tender age of 30 years old?
Yeah, so I grew up very skinny, right, as an ectomorph, and or actually, I hate using those body types, somatotypes. Those are BS. But like, I grew up basically as a hard gainer. It was difficult for me to gain weight. I was 6'2", 18 years old, 162, 164 pounds. So that year, after I graduated high school, I was like, I need to get in the gym and exercise and get in shape.
Right.
So what I did was I started working out, put on some lean body mass, and then I went off to college the next year, and I walked onto the rowing team.
Okay.
And when I walked onto the rowing team, I was still lifting weights and doing the endurance type training, but I learned a lot about bodybuilding during that time. And I just consumed a bunch of content on bodybuilding. I consumed the BS, the real stuff, whatever it may be. And what I found was that, you need to apply an evidence-based lens to your fitness. So I basically apply kind of like a red pill to fitness, where I look at the studies, I look at what works, what doesn't, I look at the latest research, and, I basically condense it and then dispense it out to the people in a way that's digestible. So they're not like, what? Like double-blind study? So it's just like, kind of make it more common sense based. So I've been lifting now since I was 18 years old. I'm 30 now, and just a lot of trial and error as well, like looking at what works and what doesn't. I've tried a bunch of different things, and quite frankly, the studies are the best way to always go. So
now, you said the word ectomorph. You said you like to stay away from ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. Why?
So those are some the body somatotypes. Basically, they there was a couple studies that have disproven these. But basically, they say, if you're implying that someone's an ectomorph or a mesomorph or an endomorph, whatever it may be, that assumes that they need to change their training and or diet based on a body type. When in reality, if you're training correctly, that's pretty much universal, getting enough volume in, whatever. That's going to be more based on your experience level versus a body type. And then when it comes to caloric intake, because people will say, if I look at a salad, I'm going to gain weight. A lot of the basing a diet off of a body type also isn't a good way to go, because the reality is the guys that say, I'm an endomorph or I gain weight off just looking at food, you're probably not tracking your calories and you're probably eating way more than you think. Because the thing is that when they've taken subjects and they put them in metabolic wards, which a metabolic ward is basically when you put a subject in a ward where all the calories are controlled, like the researchers feed them, right?
Wow.
They think, I was eating 2,000 calories a day and I wasn't able to lose weight. But when the researchers feed them that 2,000 calories, they're losing weight. So that tells you right there that most people underestimate their calorie intake grossly. And the thing is that, a nibble here, a sip of soda here, a bite here, a piece of cake there, whatever, that all adds up cumulatively cumulatively, day to day, week to week, month to month. And we know that if you're in a caloric surplus, you're going to gain weight. So the problem 9 out of 10 times is that people don't track their calories properly, and they overeat. If you eat too many calories, you're going to gain weight. So to use a body type to say, oh, I need to diet this way because of my body type. No, dude, you're just probably overeating calories 99% of the time. And they've done studies too where most people undershoot their calorie intake by about 30%.
Jesus.
So
wow, that's a large gap.
Exactly. Man. And then let's say it's 500 calories, right? 500 calories Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, Jesus, that's 3,500. That's 3,500 extra
yeah,
calories.
And then you compound that over a month. Over a couple of months. It's no wonder most Americans are obese right now. So it doesn't come down to body types. It comes down to just a gross underestimation of how much they're actually consuming per day. Because any type of train, like if you train correctly, your body type isn't really going to matter because volume is the dictator of muscle growth. So that's based on more of an experience level. Like, so a beginner will get by on like 10 sets per week, whereas like a more advanced guy can get by on like 15 to 20 sets per week. So to use body somatotypes to dictate how you train or diet is a fallacy. It's not a good way to do it.
Okay, good stuff. Ruben G, one of my patrons, says, hey, Donovan, thank you for reading this content. My question to you and Myron is, how do you game women in a city that's predominantly left-wing and feminist? I live in the Bay Area, and I often date these women who label themselves feminists, and their ideas tend to be far left. I mean, they idolize AOC, Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, etc., etc. So you live in so I don't know that Miami is as bad as the Bay Area in terms of the left-wing, girl power movement activism, or is it?
Miami's a pretty liberal city.
Okay.
We have a very strong Latin population, from South America, so it is a fairly left-wing city. We don't have as many career women, so to speak, as like other major cities like San Fran or Boston or whatever. But
San Bernardino.
I've dealt with these kinds of women. The thing is, man. So I actually went out on a date with one of these chicks a couple weeks ago.
How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good. I was able to close and everything.
Oh, you smashed.
Yeah.
It's so funny. These super liberal I am woman hear me roar chicks. They are the easiest to smash.
Yeah, because
they're so easy.
The thing with them is that. So there's two things that when you deal with chicks like this. Number one, don't talk about like red pill theory with them. Don't do that because they're gonna want to fight you on that. And then number two, don't walk it. Don't talk about it. Just walk it. You know what I'm saying? No migos. And you gotta, So if you just basically lead and show a strong masculine personality and don't accept her S test, as we would say.
There you go.
You'll be fine. And the thing is, a lot of these liberal chicks, what they'll try to do is they'll try to put you in a corner and kind of figure you out. So like this one girl I was with, she asked me like a couple of times, who are you going to vote for in the election? Who are you going to vote for? And I was basically like, because I had read her Bumble profile and she mentioned something about like, oh, I hate Donald Trump. If you like him, swipe left or whatever. And I was like, all right, I know where this girl's going.
Jesus.
And I just simply say, when a girl asks you guys questions that you don't want to answer, just say this: either I don't answer questions without an attorney present, or I don't negotiate, or I don't negotiate with terrorists, whatever it may be.
Oh wow!
But you don't answer their question. And I knew if I had said, oh yeah, I tend to vote a little bit more conservatively, whatever, she would use that as a way to disqualify me. Because I always tell guys, when you date women, a lot of the time, especially on dating apps, whatever it may be, they're looking for a reason to disqualify you.
That's right.
The average woman today has so many options through dating apps, social media, whatever it may be, that they're looking to disqualify you. That's why I tell guys, if you have an Instagram and it's not optimized, don't give it. Because if she sees one picture that doesn't align with her belief system, she's going to use that to disqualify you. So less is more sometimes. And when you're dealing with these women, keep your red pill awareness like hidden, but act on it. So walk in front of her. Pay for the check. I know some guys, oh, you're simping. No, you don't pay because you're a simp. You pay so you can control the frame of the date and you can take her to other places and she's not going to challenge you. Once you let a woman take any type of, how do I say this, authority within a date where you're splitting it with her, or she has the ability to dictate the next move, you're going to take an L. Because when you're dating a girl, there's two things going on. You're trying to get sex. She's trying to leverage time, resources, commitment, money from you. So for you to get that sex, you need to make sure you're in the driver's seat at all times and you don't defer anything to her. This is why I always tell guys, never drive to a girl on a first date.
Right.
Don't meet her halfway. She's got to come meet you. You pick everything. You pick where you're going to go, the different destinations, etc. And everything should be set up in a way so that you can get her back to your place and close the deal. Because when you close a deal, number one, it shows that you're a higher value guy. Number two, it shows that you're socially calibrated. Number three, it puts you in that alpha category, right?
Right.
And then number four, it's going to make her respect you more because now she's invested. You know what I mean? The problem is that a lot of guys invest too much in the girl first and she doesn't invest anything. So it's going to be easier for her to flake on you. It's going to be easier for her to not give you sex, or worse yet, make you take her out on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dates and until before she finally gives it up to you. And guys that are high value don't wait for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if a chick doesn't give it to me first day, 9 out of 10 times I'm not going to talk to her again. You know what I mean? Or I'll kick her out my place if she doesn't want to do it, you know? And the reason why I do that is because it goes far beyond me saying, oh, I need sex right now. It's because I need to let her know on certain terms she can't leverage sex against me for some kind of compliance. Because if you let a woman think or know that she exerts power over you with her sexuality, you're going to take an L. So you need to let her know immediately you have options. Now, obviously, I'm not like a jerk about it, like, get out. I'm just like, hey, listen, I respect your decision, to not want to hook up, but you got to go. I got.
I'm that asshole. I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, who? Yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
like that'd be me. I mean, I don't know. I'm an asshole like that.
And you got to do that because if you don't, then she's gonna know and or think, okay, I can leverage sex against this guy, and then boom, what does that do? That makes you come off as lower value. Because let me tell you guys this. If you were a celebrity, a rapper, whatever, you think if she's meeting with Drake, she's going to say, oh, I can't tonight, tomorrow. No, dude, she's giving it up immediately. Straight up. You need to hold yourself to that same high value standard. So when you deal with chicks in liberal places, man, keep the RP awareness hidden. Still lead, be a masculine male because it's going to be refreshing to her. And yeah, dude, treat it like any other date. Just don't fall. She's just going to try to S-test you more to see where you stand. Just don't answer her questions.
And they never, ever stop. They never, ever stop. I'm going to go, we're going to read a couple of super chats here, and then we have questions that have been submitted to the TSR voicemail line. So Dev, get those ready. Cam Gibson, $5, says, y'all don't get Mr. Sharpe started. Please do not. Antennas with $5 Canadian says, I like the wall behind you. Great accent. Thank you for sharing the knowledge, guys. Keep it up. Appreciate that. Red Pill Mike says the red pill needs unity and not division. The division is what is keeping this community from growing to its capacity. 100%. 100% Red Pill Mike. Totally agree. Ray Kaufman, $10, says, guys, you give us a frame of reference every time you speak. To see you both together is inspiring. And Devin is kicking bleep already. Keep going, man. Yeah, Devin got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but she's kicking that ass right now. Roy Kaufman says, listening as I lived. As only you should.
Excellent.
Red Pill Mike says the biggest girl power movement activists are not used to getting male attention, so naturally they act female doggy up front. The smallest level is all it takes to break them. Juz Rhyme, $5, says, I learned a lot from you both and AMS. Y'all make me proud out here. Keep it up. Okay, so we've got a voice call, the TSR voicemail hotline. If you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, concerns, whatever the case may be, and I should have put the number on the screen. We'll probably have that later on. The number is 702-919-7197. That's 702-919-7197. Let's listen to
it in the chat.
Okay, very good. Dev's going to put it in the chat, and let's take the first question now.
Hello, this is Curtis Bender from Ellensburg, Washington. I'm calling regarding a question for my fitness. I've recently gotten into fasted cardio, and I'm wondering if it's worth all the hype or if it will destroy any new muscle I'm making any kind of gains in. I'm thinking of pre- and post-workout supplements as well, before and after. Is this all just hocus pocus, or is there something to it?
Fasted, but the reality is if you're if you don't have carbohydrates in your system, your body's going to use the stored body fats first. But that doesn't negate the fact that overall calories is still the major factor whether you gain weight or not. So if you control calories, and they did a study on this, I think back in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, Brad Schoenfeld, they took 2 groups of women. One did fasted cardio, the other one did cardio at night.
Hey, hang on one second, Myron.
Okay,
Let's go ahead and play the question again, Dev, because they couldn't hear the question. That's fine. Little snafu. We'll go back to it and.
I could hear the question. I muted the mics for the question, so it didn't echo, and I forgot to unmute it.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't hear the first part of.
Okay. So let's no problem.
You want me to repeat the question?
So they could hear the question, but they just couldn't hear Myron yet.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Okay, no problem. So
cool.
yeah, okay. So I guess to sort of run it back to give people what they missed. Fasted cardio. You talked about the origination of fasted cardio. Is just like Curtis in Washington asked, does it work? Is it hocus pocus, or is it a cheat code? Like, what exactly is it?
It's hocus pocus, and the thing is that fasted cardio came from a study back in the 70s where they took people and they had them exercise with no food in their system, and they burned more stored body fat. However, this doesn't override the fact that controlling calories is the ultimate determinant of whether you're going to gain or lose body fat. So, and they did a study actually recently, I think it was 2015, Brad Schoenfeld, and what they did was they took 2 groups of women, and they had one group do fasted cardio, another group do regular fed cardio, but they controlled calories and protein between the 2 groups. And what they found was pretty much fat loss was equal in both groups. Despite one group burning more stored body fat from the morning cardio. So what it comes down to is, regardless of when you do your cardio, calories still got to be controlled. And what I always say is do cardio when it's best for you to adhere. So if you if you want to lose weight and you're doing some cardio to supplement your weight loss, we know obviously weight training needs to be the cornerstone of your training.
Yep.
And then you can add cardio once you start hitting sticking points. If you are going to do cardio, then I always say separate it as far away from your weight training as you can so it doesn't impede your ability to weight train with intensity, because that's going to be responsible for maintaining your lean body mass. The diet's going to be responsible for eliciting the calorie deficit, which is going to lose the fat, and then cardio could be to supplement. So it doesn't matter when you do it, whether it's day or night. Just make sure whenever you decide to do the cardio, it's at a program that you can stick to, because we all know adherence is the number one factor when it comes to success in the gym.
Excellent, man. Good, very, very good answers. The Marfuki man with the $125 super chat says, thank you all for doing what you're doing. Keep dropping these nuggets, and congratulations on the new studio. My apologies, guys. My voice left me a couple days ago, and I'm trying to get it back, but I'm good to go. Medinaha with the €5. He asks a question. Does the average calorie intake take into account intense physical activity like heavy weightlifting and cardio? Nice toes, by the way, sir.
Thank you. So great question. So I always tell guys, track what you're eating. Don't worry too much about how many calories you're burning. And me and Donovan actually did an experiment about this, guys.
We did.
Where Donovan's calorie tracker was telling him, hey, eat an extra 500 calories or whatever.
Yes,
and
right.
I was like, no, don't listen to it, because calorie expenditure apps are chronically incorrect. And I made a video on this on my YouTube. Are Fit Watch or like calorie tracking apps correct?
Yes.
Calorie expenditure apps correct? And the answer is they're not, guys. And there's a couple studies where they took Fitbits, and all these other apps that track, you burn this many calories, and they're
you can
way
eat an
off.
extra 50 calories.
They're way off, guys.
Oh, okay.
See, even Devin knows. You want to talk about it, Devin?
I always suspected that stuff is just hocus pocus.
So you've tried that too?
I've tracked. I've done the Fitbits, the smartwatches, the tracking calories, MyFitnessPal, and it doesn't work. It works is like following your trainer's plan.
Right.
Right. And actually working out 5 days a week. That really helps too.
Yeah, that helps too. Absolutely.
So I would say don't worry too much, guys, about tracking like how many calories you're burning in the gym. Rather, track what you can control 100%, which is what you're putting in. And then get a body of work from that, figuring out eat the same foods consistently, and you'll be able to figure out what your maintenance calories are, and then you'll be able to either increase or decrease from that based on your goals. But do not listen to calorie expenditure apps. They're not accurate, because if we had listened to that, to what Fitbit had told us with Donovan, he wouldn't have lost weight.
Nope.
So because it was actually telling him, hey, you earn an extra 500 calories every day. So if he had done that, he would have definitely not been able to lose weight. So yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that finding foods that you can eat consistently and having a consistent diet. So you're eating the same things or similar things at the same time of day, every day in similar portions. That is, for me, I found is key. And it's the easiest to stick to, and it's the easiest to it just turns into a mental habit. So you don't even have to think about your diet anymore. That's just what you eat. That's what you do. And, I don't know. My trainer always tells me, like, you should, eat this at this time and don't eat before before you go to bed and all this stuff, but like I eat when I'm hungry. I don't eat a lot. I'm kind of a little bit of a grazer, so I like to eat small amounts of food throughout the day. But as long as it's consistent, then I don't have a problem with it. And I don't know. I think that the consistency with your meal choices, I think for that is so helpful.
No, for sure. When I lost all the weight, I ate the same exact. So I got up to 250 pounds, guys. I got like really big. Right now I'm about 205.
Titties and everything, right?
Yeah, I had titties and everything, dude. I was lactating. And the way I lost the weight was I ate the same food every single day. I tracked it all the time. And when you eat the same foods all the time, basically you're in control of how many calories you're consuming. Yeah. And the beauty is this. You can, when you start hitting sticking points, you just take out one small piece of food from that, and then boom, you're losing weight again. So it's excellent for eating the same foods consistently is going to set you up to win because you just have a pattern. You know exactly what's in it. And I eat Chipotle every single day for like 7 months, and I lost 50 pounds. And I had like my dinner planned out. Everything was the same. Yes, it's boring, guys. Yes, it's monotonous. But hey, you want results or do you want to cry? You know what I mean?
Listen, I agree 100%, and I call this the Steve Jobs effect. Steve Jobs, and everybody knows this story, Steve Jobs wore the same thing every day. And the reason why he wore the same thing every day is because he didn't want to think about it. He was too busy changing the world. It was the black turtleneck. He's famous for that. And a lot of guys say, well, I want some variety in my diet, and I don't want to get bored. Listen, it takes, 5 to 7 minutes to eat a meal?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same thing every day. That's 20 minutes a day that you're doing the same thing. There are things that you do every day on the regular that are exactly the same thing. Your diet can't be no different, if that makes any sense. And here's another thing. Do you want to be bored or do you want to be fit?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
And the thing is, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. A lot of you guys are soft. I'm just gonna say it like it is. A lot of people turn eating into a hobby or call themselves a foodie. Everyone I know that calls himself a foodie, excuse my language, is a pussy. So they're soft. Like, oh, I'm gonna make, like, I'm a foodie. I'm gonna go and eat this, and it's like a hobby for me to go eat. Like, that's if you need instant gratification that much through the food that you eat, then you're not built for this, man. Like, yes, you're gonna have to eat food that doesn't taste good all the time. Yes, you're gonna have to choke down vegetables. Yes, you're gonna have to eat foods that aren't the best tasting. But you got to look at food from an objective standpoint. This is fuel so that I can train, so that I can do well, so I can look better, feel better. And at the end of the day, man, like that 5 seconds of satisfaction that you get from eating a piece of chocolate or eating candy, whatever it may be,
it's fleeting.
It's fleeting, man.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Okay. Very, very good answer. I've got another Patreon question here about fitness. Alan C says, I have a question for Myron. What is the best way to get back into working out again, even though I have herniated discs in my neck and back issues, narrowing of the spinal cord in the 11 vertebrae? Wow. Holy moly.
Number one, get cleared by your doctor.
Yes, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, like number one, make sure that you're fit to go and exercise. And obviously listen to your doctor or medical professional and make sure that you're set up in a position where you can go back and exercise consistently, because a lot of guys make the mistake of returning back to the gym before they're healthy. And guys, don't come back until you're 100%. You don't want to come back 70%. You take one step forward to take 3 steps back, versus if you just take 3 steps back and wait, then you can eventually take those 3 steps forward again and get yourself back to where you're at. So make sure you're cleared from a health standpoint. Once you're cleared, then slowly get back into exercising and work your way up. Progressive overload.
I think it's very important, especially for workout zealots like myself. It's very, very hard, and that's for me the hardest part of the injury is not the injury. The hardest part is, God, I have to not lift for 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
sure.
I hate it because in my mind, I feel like, if I don't work out 70 days in a row, if I miss one day, I'm going to go all the way back to square one. But I think what a lot of people have to understand is that this is a lifestyle.
Yes.
If you get laid up because of an injury or a procedure you had done, listen, you're gonna have to take that time off. Because, and I'm here to tell you, if you train while you're injured, you might be able to push the weight. You might be able to pull it, but what you're doing is you're purposely avoiding the muscles that you use to do the lift. And you actually overcompensate. So then you start putting strain on other muscles, and then you re-injure yourself there. What are the dangers of re-injuring? And if somebody has herniated discs and things like that, aside from getting cleared from his doctor, what kind of, physical therapy? I mean, that's a tough draw.
Yeah, man. I mean, you always want to put yourself in a position where you can come back healthy, so that you can actually, when you train, when you go back to training, there's no stops. You know what I mean? Like you're able to just, because we all know consistency plus time equals results when it comes to fitness. So you can't afford to have more setbacks. So get cleared, go to your doctor. Once you do that, start doing physical therapy with a physical therapist, whether you got some mobility issues, whatever it may be, deep tissue massage, whatever it is, then slowly get yourself back in the gym and exercising. But don't go back in prematurely to hurt yourself and set yourself up for an even longer period of time where you're going to be on the sidelines.
Very good. Atlas Shrugging, $5, says, with the beer mug making it difficult, the beer bug making it difficult to get into gyms. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is all new for me. I'm used to having everything under control, but I'm good to go now. With the beer bug making it difficult to get into gyms right now, what are your thoughts on calisthenics to make up for limited weight training? We've had this question before.
Yeah, calisthenics is an excellent way to exercise. There's a bunch of studies too that I posted on my Instagram about how, as long as you use over 40% your 1 rep max, doing calisthenics, you're pretty much gonna preserve any lean body mass that you have.
Okay.
So calisthenics is an excellent way to compensate when you don't have access to, traditional weights. It'll help you maintain. Now, obviously, when the gyms open back up, get back in there, but calisthenics are definitely a good way to build and or preserve what you got.
Perfect. I remember, and I think it was somebody else. I had a fitness guy. I think it might have been Drew Bay. He is against calisthenics, but Drew Bay is a thick individual, right?
Yeah.
He's an ectomorph, or a mesomorph.
I'll keep it 100. He don't know what he's talking about, bro. He tried to say something on Twitter, and I posted the study like, no, you're incorrect, and then he blocked me. So he don't know what he's talking about, bro. That guy
sucks, because I have you both in the masculine excellence lifestyle kit, so I might just bring him. Listen, I might just do Nigatube and bring him in and just do it like that. The Marfuki man with the $20 super chat. Here's a very good question. He says, would you consider being a solo cabinet installer a job that burns calories enough to replace going to the gym? Labor-intensive jobs, do those replace going to the gym?
No, they don't, man.
Okay.
Because, so this kind of goes back to that's kind of like, can I just do cardio and get in shape?
Right.
And the reality is, guys, the only way you're truly going to change your body composition and look better is you're going to have to resistance train. You're going to have to lift weights. Now, if you work a job where basically your what we call NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis is high, right? Like, a roof or a landscape or whatever. Yeah, you're going to burn calories because your job is intensive, but that's not necessarily going to create a stimuli for you to put on lean body mass, and that's what's actually going to change your body, have you looking better, have the shirts fitting correctly, etc. So you're going to have to resistance train. I mean, yes, it'll help you, I guess, mitigate like some of the calories that you eat during the day, but you never want to rely on like non-exercise activity thermogenesis or cardio or whatever to be the basis or foundation of your weight loss. That's got to come from the caloric deficit that you can deliberately control. And then then the weight training promotes either building and or retaining the hard-earned lean body mass that you have.
I think that one thing that made a big impression on me was when you said that cardio should only be used as a supplement.
Yes.
Right? It should not be your main, it should be used as a tool. For example, if you hit a plateau in terms of weight loss or lean body mass, you add a little bit of cardio, maybe take off a few calories, and that's how you blast through plateaus. Why do you think that people think that cardio is the cheat code?
Well, it's easy to do. It's easy to perform. It doesn't take much to walk in a gym and jump on a treadmill or put on some running sneakers and jump out there. And I mean, there's a lot of misinformation out there about, exercise and training practices, what works, what doesn't work. Obviously, no offense against Drew Bay, but for him to say that calisthenics don't work is ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch. If you don't think calisthenics works, go to any New York City playground and look at those guys that are jacked, that are doing pull-ups and dips and all that other stuff. So, there's anecdotal evidence and scientific research to back that calisthenics absolutely can cause hypertrophy. So is it the most optimal? Not necessarily, because it's harder to scale, progressive overload, whatever. But the point is that there's a lot of misinformation out there in the fitness industry, and cardio, quite frankly, is very easy to do for anyone. You know, you don't really need to learn how to lift weights, proper form, whatever it may be. And there's this connotation out there that if I just do cardio or if I run, I'm going to lose weight, which you will in the beginning.
Sure.
You will absolutely lose weight in the beginning. But the problem is that it's I always say it's a short-term solution to a long-term problem.
Yes.
Fat loss is a long-term problem. And the thing with cardio is the more you do it, the more efficient you get at it. And the more efficient you get at it, the less calories you burn doing the same set activity. And then the more of it you have to do. And quite frankly, cardio is not going to be responsible for building lean body mass, which is what you want to actually look good. So if you just do cardio and nothing else, yeah, you'll lose weight, but you'll become a skinnier, fat version of yourself. You're not going to be aesthetic, you know, because most people want to look like athletic.
Like you.
Yeah, they want to look athletic. So if you want to look athletic, weight training's got to be the predominant form of exercise. And then you can add the cardiovascular activity to supplement what you're doing when you hit sticking points as a tool in your tool belt when you hit plateaus.
Very good. Joe Mafioso, probably not his real name, says, questions for Myron. What is the best way to lose belly fat? I've lost over 45 pounds in the last 18 months using anti-inflammatory diet and walking, but I can't seem to lose that last 5 pounds of belly fat. Also, what are the best exercises I can do at home to help build upper body strength? I don't have any weights, just resistance bands. Let's take this one question at a time. He can't seem to lose that last 5 pounds. 45 pounds, that's a hell of an accomplishment.
Good.
What can he do to lose that last 5 pounds of belly fat?
So when you hit a sticking point, pretty much what that means, and you can't lose weight anymore, as you guys lose weight, your caloric needs come down with it. So your TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure, as you become smaller and smaller from losing more and more weight,
you don't need as much.
Exactly. Yeah. Your for you to maintain that same body weight, your caloric needs to come down with it. So this is what we call metabolic adaptation. So what you're going to do is you're going to just have to either A, decrease your calories further, or B, start adding in some cardio or some other means to expend those extra calories. But that last bit of weight that you want to lose typically is the hardest, because you've been dieting for a bit, your body's acclimated to your deliberate caloric deficit, so you need to become a little bit more, clever in your dieting practices to lose the weight. So figure out how many calories you're eating per day right now, subtract 300 to 500 calories from that, figure out what your maintenance calories is, subtract from that TDEE, and then you could do that either through cutting calories, or you could do it through cardio. But you need to eat less to lose weight.
That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. And so resistance bands. What are some? He wants to know what he can do at home with just resistance bands.
You can do push-ups, right? Push-ups are an excellent upper body movement. If you do it correctly, it works your back as well. And then I don't know if you could do pull-ups, but since you have resistance bands, you can actually do pull-ups with the resistance band assist, where you put it under your foot, and that'll help take off some of the weight so that you can do body weight pull-ups. But if you could do full body weight pull-ups, do pull-ups, push-ups, that's going to be excellent for upper body. That's pretty much what you need if all you got is limited equipment at your house. But then work your way to getting back in a gym.
Okay, very good. Here's another question. Reedman on Patreon says, opinions on going gluten-free. I've switched to about 90% gluten-free, and I feel like I have more energy throughout the day.
Well, that's a personal decision. When it comes to gluten or, diet practices
vegan
like
diet.
that, that's a personal thing. So if it makes you feel better, go for it. I never, my thing is I hate diet zealots that say, this diet is the best, this diet is the best, this diet is the best. Yeah. There is no best diet. The best diet is whatever you can stick to and adhere to, which will promote, consistency for you so you can get to your goals.
Okay, another question for you. Vince with the $5 super chat says, what is your opinion on late dinners? Are they a hindrance to weight loss, even if your calories are in check? Very good question.
No, mealtime and frequency really doesn't have too much of a difference on, if overall calories are controlled, eat whenever you want, man. It doesn't really make a difference. The only time mealtime and frequency makes a big difference is for guys that are like athletes that need to perform in some way. That's when mealtime and frequency, or if you're training multiple times per day, that's when mealtime and frequency matters more. But like for the average Joe training once per day, trying to look good for the beach, whatever it may be, mealtime frequency isn't going to make that big of a difference on body comp. So if you want to eat at night, it's fine. Just make sure calories are controlled and protein is equated.
Good, very good. Another question from C-Dub. He says, to be in the shape you are in, some part of your fitness regimen has to include flexibility, agility, muscle pliability, etc. Can you share what you do to address these things and how best for someone with limited flexibility, hip flexors, and hamstrings, especially, to improve. So how can you improve your flexibility? It's a very good
So
question.
I have decent flexibility. I was an athlete before, so we used to do a lot of, athletic warm-ups. I used to go to a trainer and everything like that. I don't do that stuff now because my mobility is still decent, still pretty good. And pretty much, guys, if you can squat to depth and you can, execute weight training movements without problems, then your mobility is good enough. But I know some guys want to be able to touch their toes, do all this other stuff. I mean, just go ahead and start doing some yoga, get with a trainer, and work on your mobility, man, because your mobility is very important.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to read off a couple of other super chats. Then we're going to go back to the TSR voicemail hotline. I just had it. Tunes with the $20 super chat says there was actually a study where weighted pull-ups and weighted chin-ups built bigger and stronger biceps than easy curls and preacher isolation curls. What are your thoughts on that?
Proves my points that calisthenics is not inferior. Thank you.
Okay, let us go to the TSR hotline mailbox, and hopefully Dev can remember to unmute us afterwards. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Mel. I'm calling from New Hampshire. I'm 57 years old. Got a question for you. I'm ectomorphic. In other words, my body is on the thin side, have some muscle, but can never really bulk out. Wondering what advice you've got for somebody my age. Prefer not to do any enhancements with hormones or anything like that. So any advice would be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, so Mel in New Hampshire wants to know, he calls himself an ectomorph, but he's a hard gainer.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do TRT. He doesn't want to do performance-enhancing drugs. How can he gain muscle as someone who's a hard gainer?
So what a lot of the times when guys struggle to build muscle mass, something is wrong, whether with either their nutrition or their training or their recovery, one of those three. So I'll just give some basics because I don't really know what his experience level is or anything like that.
Okay.
Or you can hit me up on the side, dude. I'd be happy to help you. But the point is, for beginners, somewhere between 10 to 12 working sets per muscle group is pretty good, right? You'll be able to build some muscle with that. But you got to take it to the appropriate intensity. You got to be pushing yourself pretty close to failure, maybe not to absolute failure, but pretty close. And then when it comes to, since you're a hard gainer, you're gonna have to eat more calories than you're probably comfortable eating. One of the chronic mistakes that guys make that have a trouble gaining muscle mass is that they don't eat enough. And what I mean by they don't eat enough, they're eating maybe 1,000, 2,000 calories. Guys, you guys got to remember that muscles grow on calories. So you're probably going to have to eat an amount that you're not comfortable with eating. And then you're probably going to also have to consume an amount of protein that you're not comfortable consuming. Every skinny guy that I deal with, when I look at their calories of what they take in before they work with me, they're chronically under eating protein. They're eating like 50 grams a day, which is nothing. They're eating 1,500 calories a day, 2,000 calories a day. You need to eat more.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to absolutely maximize recovery because you don't grow in the gym, you grow out of the gym. So the way to grow out of the gym is by sleeping 8 to 10 hours a night, making sure you're eating a micronutrient-dense diet with your fruits and vegetables, sweet potatoes, your lean meats, etc. And that's going to promote an anabolic environment so that you can actually, forge some hypertrophy.
Good. Very good answer. What caught my attention was you don't grow in the gym, you grow out of the gym. Yeah. And I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, what you're saying is that obviously when you work out in the gym, you're tearing down your body. But when you're outside of the gym, you're repairing your muscles and the scar tissue makes the muscles bigger. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The gym is merely the stimuli. And if you guys want to look at it from an example would be like when you go to the gym, you're heating up the clay. Right? But the nutrition and the sleep and the the recovery, that's what molds the clay.
Wow, I've never heard it put that way.
That's how it is,
before.
yeah. That's what the gym is. It heats up the clay so it's amenable to change.
Myron Aristotle Gaines bringing the philosophy to the fitness conversation. Some guy on Patreon says, Myron, I am 47 and a big time CrossFitter. I do compete in the
Sorry to hear that, man.
Okay. Now, before I get to this, now CrossFit is very polarizing. Half the people it's a religion. I'll never do anything again. It's right. But then there's people on the other side that's like, dude, you guys are effing crazy. What is it about CrossFit, I guess, that rubs you the wrong way? Or why is it that you are against CrossFit?
I don't hate CrossFit. I'm not I'm for anything that gets people out there exercising.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
But what I will say is that anyone that says, oh, CrossFit is optimal for building muscle or building an aesthetic physique, they're flat out lying. Because quite frankly, CrossFit is more endurance-based, circuit-based training where you're doing athletic lifts, Olympic lifts, whatever it may be. There's not enough time under tension and you're not training. it's not optimal for hypertrophy, quite frankly.
Wow.
It's just not, because here's the other thing too with CrossFit. The workouts change every time. The WODs, the workout of the day, changes every time. So how are you going to be able to scale that and progress and get better? Because we all know that for hypertrophy to take place, progressive overload is very important, getting better over time. Well, how are you going to progressively overload if the control, aka the workouts, are not the same? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So with that said, that's one reason why it's not most optimal for hypertrophy. And then on top of that, you're doing Olympic lifts, which are designed to be done in the 1 to 3 rep range with, extreme dexterity and skill. These lifts aren't necessarily most conducive to hypertrophy. There's a reason why bodybuilders never do clean and snatches or hand cleans or whatever, because they understand that there's a low ROI on building muscle. On top of that, it's a high chance or high likelihood of injury.
Injuries,
so,
yes.
I don't have a problem with CrossFit from like a personal sense if someone wants to do it to exercise, but to say that, CrossFit is like optimal for hypertrophy is asinine. So it's like,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, some guy asks, I do compete in the Too Old to Beat the Young Guys class in the CrossFit Games. In the last 2 months, I am having shoulder pain, and it appears to be from a lack of flexibility across my chest. What do you recommend to increase my range of motion for chest for overhead work?
He's got to go see a physical therapist. And this is why I always say, like, when you're exercising, man, you guys want to always try to mitigate injury, man. Like you always want to train in a way where you're going to protect yourself. That's one thing I have an issue with CrossFit, because you're doing, think of it, right? Basically, I call CrossFit scoliosis for time, because you know what I'm saying? Because basically you're doing complex lifts that are very prone to injury for high repetitions with, sub-maximal loads in a competitive environment where you're going against other people. That's a recipe for disaster and injury. Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's just not conducive. And here's the other thing, too. A lot of people will say, oh, CrossFit will get you ripped or whatever it may be. You guys got to understand, Rich Froning, these like top CrossFit guys, they were elite athletes before CrossFit. There you go. They looked like that way before CrossFit. So they don't look like that because of CrossFit. They look like that prior to. So, because there's this illusion that Reebok was trying to sell people before when they had CrossFit, that CrossFit is going to make you look really really good looking or whatever it may be. Like it's going to promote hypertrophy. You're going to look great, whatever. Not really, man. It's not the most optimal way to change your body composition. As if anything, it's actually pretty detrimental, because, Weekend Warrior Joe is going to show up at the CrossFit gym and, teaching preschoolers by day and then trying to CrossFit at night. Dude, you're going to hurt yourself, man. These guys, they're former professional athletes, high-level athletes. They know how to complete these lifts. They know how to recover properly, etc. Like, you're not them.
That's the thing that I've heard about CrossFit is that, to be good at it, you have to have been almost a professional or semi-professional athlete in your past. And number 2, the extremely high rate of injury.
Yeah.
Why are injuries so prevalent in CrossFit?
Well, I mean, it just goes back to it's a recipe for disaster. You're doing complex Olympic lifts that are designed to be done for 1 to 3 reps, 4 time with sub-maximal loads in a competition environment where form is easily going to break down, you know? So, I mean, there's a reason why we got Russians over there right now training for 4 years, to go to the Olympics and do a hand clean for for 1 rep. It's because it's a very complex lift that requires skill, dexterity, patience, and a lot of training. When you're doing these lifts for reps against time, oh, man, it's a disaster.
You're gonna fucking tear
That's why I say
yourself
scoliosis for time, man.
Atlas Shrugging on YouTube says, the first rule of CrossFit, you must tell everyone about CrossFit. That's funny.
And then you got to tell them you're, paleo and all that other stuff, too.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yes. King Life says, first question they ask in CrossFit, do you have medical insurance? Yeah, like, why do I have to sign this waiver to be... Anyway. Got another fitness question here on Patreon. Armada in the NYC says, how do I speed up recovery? I injured my pectoral muscle. It's healed a little bit, but it still hurts even after a massage. Is there a way to speed up recovery of an injured muscle?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's relative to you. Some people recover faster than others. Just take your time, sleep, rest, and, don't go back in the gym prematurely. That's the biggest mistake guys can make, is getting back in the gym prematurely. And
guilty as charged right here, man.
That will mess you up even more. It'll aggravate the pain even more. And here's the thing, guys. If you've been out the gym for a bit, but you've been consistent with your training and everything like that, you'll gain that muscle back quickly, very fast.
Right.
So don't hurt yourself to get back in there sooner.
Okay, very good. Mark on Patreon says, I have done the Strong Lifts 5x5 program earlier in the year until gyms were shut down, and more recently restarted the programs when gym reopened. Both times, I could add 50 to 60 pounds for the bench press, squat, deadlift, and barbell row. However, I can barely add 10 pounds to the overhead press. This is the exercise I struggle with the most. I am a skinny fat guy working with a sedentary tech job. Could this be due to posture? Another thing is my wrists have always been really skinny that I have visible bony bumps on them. Is this due to genetics? I want to believe that over time it will simply work itself out, but that would be some voodoo feminine energy. I can actually start the answer to this one. I have very bony, skinny wrists myself.
Too.
We both do. We both do. And if you guys have seen my before and after pictures, I mean, you're not looking at my wrist, you're looking at my midsection. The reason, and what you have to understand, Mark, is that as far as Strong Lifts 5x5 goes, the overhead press that's my favorite of the list because it's the most challenging.
Yeah.
And the reason why most people struggle with the overhead press or it's hard to add that weight is because you're using smaller muscles. The bench press, you're using your back, your biceps, your pecs. The deadlift, you're using it all. The barbell row, you're using your quad. I mean, you're using everything. But the standing overhead press, you're really just using your some of your lats, your delts, and of course your traps. Those muscles are going to take a little bit. You're using smaller muscles, so you're not going to be able to progress weight-wise than if you would maybe say the deadlift. So what are your thoughts on what his question was?
So with the overhead press, man, so I would say this. You actually want to engage the entire body doing this movement.
Okay.
And one of the best ways to do so, a great tip that I give to guys that are having trouble with the overhead press, is you need to squeeze your glutes when you're doing the movement. What that's going to do is it's going to create a nice, stiff environment for the power to translate from your feet through the body into the bar, and then it's going to help you put elevate that bar up in a straight bar path. The other thing too is you want to keep the bar tight to your body, so you should be like this, and then you move your head out the way, and then you should press right through, and that's going to promote where you're in your strongest because the bar is nice and close to you. So I would have to see your technique, man. So just hit me up on Instagram or on my website, whatever it may be, and I can definitely check out your form. But a lot of times when guys hit sticking points with the OHP, it's because they're not squeezing their glutes, they're not getting their core engaged, they're not bringing their lats forward, making their entire body tight. You want to treat it as if it's a full body lift, because when your entire body is nice and tight, the power translates from the feet into the bar and through. So
listen, you are 100% correct. And I used to be a band geek, right? And I remember my band teacher in Hawaii, my freshman year, her name was Mrs. Eckerly. And when we would be marching, she says, I want you to squeeze your ass cheeks together. You need to pinch that penny. When you, and what you have to do, especially with the overhead press, you have to engage your core, tighten your core, squeeze that butt, dude, turn coal into diamonds, and then perform the lift. Because when everything is stabilized, it allows you to press it, not easier, but it allows you to do it with proper form. The most important part about the overhead press, you have to make sure everything is tight and stable and then perform the lift.
Exactly.
Because think about with the deadlift, before you pull that weight, dude, I make sure my ear and everything is engaged, because if you don't, you can really hurt yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you need basically to get the most power into the bar, your body needs to work as a unit. And the way to make your body work as a unit is you need to tighten all the muscles, brace the core as if someone was punching you, squeeze the glutes, get engaged, and then boom, rip that bar off the floor or push that bar up into the sky. We've
got a guest in the chat. Jonathan of Modern Life Dating is in the house, and he says he may or may not be drunk AF. Wow, he is absolutely drunk. So we are getting drunk texted. It's like we're getting drunk texted by MLD. What time is it in Japan? So what is it? It's 4:30 here, so it's 4:30.
Yeah, it's like 5 a.m. over there.
Oh, yeah, he's drunk. He's drunk as hell, dude.
Yeah, no, that's what's up, man. Shout out to John from Modern Life Dating, guys. Go subscribe.
I'm gonna try to get him here. He's afraid to come to the States before the election, because he thinks that when Trump gets elected, he's not going to be able to leave the country. I said, all right, man, listen, we'll smuggle you in or out, or we'll wait until after he gets elected. But always a good time with John. Good to see him there in the chat. Merciless with the $5 super chat says, just got on sorry if this was asked already. Very good question. Is the lift till failure myth true when it comes to getting faster gains? And will the gain stay longer?
Excellent question. You want to try to avoid failure. And the reason why you want to try to avoid failure is because the more you train to failure, the more you're going to tax your body. And then what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to push the same volume. So I'll give you an example. let's say you go in and you bench press 225 for 3 sets of 10, right? And but you do it for 3 sets of 10, but each set that you're doing 10, you're leaving 1 to 2 reps in the tank, right? Now you could do, let's say you could do 5 sets now, 5 sets, 50 reps of 225. But let's say you did your first set and you just gassed it. You did 15 reps.
Right.
Well, you pushed that set to failure. Every subsequent set after that set you took to failure is going to deteriorate in quality.
That's right.
So you'll do your first set at 15 reps, second set at maybe 8, 7 reps, third set, 6 reps, 4 set, and you guys can see the decline. Versus if you had just went in there and did 1 set of 10, another set of 10, another set of 10, another set of 10, and you left 1 to 2 reps in the tank, you get more overall volume. And since and we all know for hypertrophy, volume is one of the biggest predicators of whether you're going to make gains and grow. So you want to push very close to failure, but you don't want to actually take sets to failure. Now, are there times where you want to take sets to failure? Yes. When you're doing calisthenics, you want to push closer to failure. When you're at the end of a cycle, let's say you're doing 4 weeks on, 1 week off, where you're doing like a deload. On that 4th week, go ahead and take sets to failure because you got a week of recovery following. But you just have to be intelligent about how you do failure. But somewhere between 3 reps in reserve to 1 rep in reserve is a great place to shoot for as far as like building hypertrophy and staying away from failure.
I agree with that. And I don't do strong lifts 5x5 anymore. I actually do 3x5 because I'm now into the heavier weights. I'm to 160 pounds on the standing overhead press. I'm actually at 255 on the bench press. I'm at, I'm at like 325 or 330 on the deadlift, and the barbell row I'm at 200 pounds. And the reason I do 3x5 instead of 5x5 is because if I try to do 5x5 with those super heavy lifts, reps number 4 and 5 are not going to look that good. All I'm trying to do is get through the lift. Yeah. And I'm telling you, form is everything, especially with compound lifts. So I guess to juxtapose that with the lift till failure, when you're lifting till failure, the last 3 or 4 reps are not going to be, that's not going to be good form. That's where injuries happen.
Yeah, for sure. So that's why you kind of want to stay away from failure because it's dangerous. And then secondly, it limits your ability to get in quality volume, just like I explained with the bench press thing. If you had just done 5 sets of 10, you would have got 50 reps at 225 versus you wanted to blow your load the first set and go 15, take yourself to failure. Now that's going to negatively impact your ability to get in quality reps and sets for subsequent sets.
And to recover and heal properly.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, totally agree. Chris H. on the Patreon side says, my question is for Myron. What his regular diet consists of? What is his protein source? What kinds of fruits and veggies does he eat? And when does he have cheat days?
So I have a meal prep service that I use in Miami. So they bring me my food. So it's like an array of things. But basically it's like lean meats, vegetables. I'm always eating like half a bag of spinach a day. I'm having protein shakes to help supplement because I take in a lot of protein per day. I'm eating easily around 250 to 300 grams per day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I always try to overshoot the protein because
You've
protein
always
is
preached that.
Yeah, it's always protein is the most important macronutrient when it comes to improving your body composition overall. But and there's a bunch of reasons for that, but I don't want to put anyone to sleep. But yeah, and then I eat for fruits. I eat a lot of blackberries, strawberries, and blueberries because those are lower in calorie. They taste good, helps alleviate that sweet tooth. And then about once per week or so, I'll have like a high calorie day where I'm eating. I'll eat like a bag of candy or something like that, and that'll help me with staving off any type of cravings and making sure that I keep my metabolism up. But yeah. That's pretty much what I do.
Good, very good. Ken Rose with the $5 super chat says, totally agree with Myron on consistency. Did a mostly keto carnivore diet while going to the gym once a week for a year, and I lost 50 pounds. Wow, once a week. Red Pill Mike, another $5 super chat says, I am a big advocate on taking regular week off rest periods to aid in muscle recovery and prevent injury. Your body is not a machine. Be smart. This is something you do on my training schedule. You give me 1 week off to sort of recover. Explain why that's important, because a lot of workout zealots be like, oh no, I can't take a week off. I'm going to lose all my gains or I'm going to go back to square one. How important is it to have those 1 week off rest periods, and how often should they do them?
Yeah, so it's called the deload, and a deload is basically a period of time where there's 2 options. You can either take the entire week off, or you can go to the gym and work with submaximal loads. I'm talking less than 25% of your 1 rep max, and you're just kind of doing the motions. And this is important because when you're pushing yourself to the, you're pushing yourself to the brink of failure all the time, consistently training hard, you're gonna need some time to come back and recover. And what the deload does, it allows for super compensation. So that time off is gonna allow you to come back stronger. So when you do your next cycle, you can up the weights from what you did the prior cycle, so that you get stronger over time. This is a premise called progressive overload, which is very important for hypertrophy. This is why I'd say CrossFit is an inferior way to build muscle mass, because the workouts aren't consistent so that you can track progress, therefore track volume, therefore get gains. So that's why it's important to do deload, so that you can basically recover, come back, super compensation, and then when you do your next cycle, you're able to increase the weights, 2 to 3%, whatever it may be, so you can consistently get stronger over time and hopefully build more lean body mass.
Good. You're a wealth of information, man. BSDR, $10 says, what do you think about the reverse pyramid? You ever heard of that?
I've never heard of that.
I think that's maybe the reverse food pyramid. I don't know. Elaborate for us, if you would, please. BSDR. Igbo Quenu with the 5 British pounds says, hi, Myron. Do you do virtual consultations? Yeah. I'm based in the UK and interested in shredding fat.
Yeah, man. Go on my website, book a consult, or hit me up on Instagram, either or, and I do 30-minute and 1-hour consultations, whether you guys want to get in shape or talk about girls. I'm glad that we actually did a fitness one. It's always I'm talking about girls and how to deal with chicks in Miami, which I enjoy that too. But this is good to see the fitness questions coming in. But yeah, man, hit me up on there, and I'd be happy to give you a consult. We'll get you sorted. And, a lot of the time, the guys will do a consult with me, or they'll work with me one-on-one, either or. But the consult, I'm able to tell them, okay, this is where you're messing up. This is what you need to do. This, whatever it may be. And you can go on it alone, or I can help you, either one.
All right, let's switch gears here. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about girls. Awesome, we're going to talk about girls, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, wait a minute, hold on. I actually had the, hang on a second. These were mostly just fitness questions. So David O on Patreon says, one of the shows Myron did with Donovan, he mentioned different cities have different game that works. As an offhanded remark, he mentioned Phoenix, but not specifics. So what kind of game works for the Phoenix Tempe area for a guy just out of college? Or is that a better question for a one-on-one?
Well, I'll answer. So I can answer that here. So for the guys that are wondering, I was in Phoenix back in November of last year. John from Modern Life Dating came to the United States. He came actually for a training.
Yes.
And I met up with him over there with some other business partners. And while we were there, we actually went out, I think, like 2 or 3 nights in a row. And I was able to close 2 nights on cold approach doing night game.
There you go.
In a row. It was good. But what I noticed when I was in Phoenix is you guys have a lot of hot girls out there, man. I'm not going to lie. I was actually
they're all over the place.
Pleasantly surprised, because when I go to most major cities now, I'm like, ill. You know what I mean? Because Miami spoils you, man. We have the highest concentration of attractive girls. So when I go anywhere else, even when I'm in New York City, I'm like, yo, these girls aren't even hot. So, you know what I mean? So when I was in Phoenix, I was actually pleasantly surprised. So my thing is, again, volume. You need to work volume when it comes to dealing with women in general. So you got to get out there and approach. And then you got to understand that most of the women, the demographic of women you're going to be talking to, are probably going to be younger girls that go to ASU. So the thing about dealing with young women, guys, you got to understand, girls just want to have fun, seriously. Right. So if you can be that fun, you can be funny, engaging, charming, etc., it's going to help you a lot. And social calibration goes a long way, man. Most guys are socially inept. So if you can come in there and, display a little bit of social acuity, you're going to stand head and shoulders above most men. So, yeah, those are some tips I can give. But yeah, if you hit me up on the side, man, if you have any more deep questions about how to run game in Phoenix, but definitely volume, understand your audience, which are going to be younger, more impressionable women, and you just got to be fun. Yeah.
All right, let me. There are actually a couple of good questions here that people posted on YouTube with regards to game.
Okay,
let's go to Adam asks Myron, have you considered doing a show going through more of your personal real-world experiences and breaking them down? Not only are they interesting, they are very informative. Very good question.
Definitely. I do my Monday podcast, the Gains podcast, which Donovan was the first guest on, actually.
Appreciate it.
Where we broke down games. So I do that where typically I interview someone and we talk about game, whether it's another city or whatever their specialty is. And then I have the Fresh and Fit podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays with my partner, Fresh Prince CEO. And we basically talk about our experiences in Miami, how we deal with girls. The last episode we did 10 signs that she belongs to the streets. And we drew heavily on a lot of experiences we had in Miami dealing with girls. And then on our Patreon, we have the top 5, which obviously is not safe for
no
YouTube.
way. No, sir.
On our Patreon, patreon.com/freshfit, one word, fresh fit. But yeah, we talked about the 5 things that make a girl definitely for the streets. But yeah, I talk more about my experiences on there. And I'll draw from experiences if someone brings me on for an interview. But like, yeah, man, I'm always happy to share stories like how Lil Wayne stole my girl one time and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. right. Compete with Lil Wayne, man. Listen,
yeah.
if you take an L because of Lil Wayne, man. Like,
it is what it is. So, yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays, guys, the Fresh and Fit podcast, 6 p.m. Catch us there. We talk a lot about L's and W's and stories.
Men have to understand they're going to take more L's.
Facts. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions guys have about game is they think, oh, I got rejected. She doesn't like me, and they just like take the L and they don't want to continue on. Guys, understand this. The top guys close about 10% of their leads.
Yes.
Okay? So world class like pickup artists, whatever, somewhere between 7 to 10%. So if you're anywhere in that range, you're a god. So I think a lot of guys underestimate the sheer amount of volume that needs to be worked to truly be good with women, man. It's ridiculous, guys.
It really is, and I think what a lot of guys have to understand also, something you said earlier, if a girl rejects you, it could be because she doesn't like you. But what you have to understand, guys, is that I would say, and we'll never know because we're not women, and we're not one particular girl. But my guess is that if a girl, just any random girl, rejects you for whatever reason, more often than not, it more than likely doesn't have anything to do with you. She could be having a bad day. She might be on her period. She might have just broke up with her boyfriend. She might have just gotten back with her boyfriend. Her mother might, she got up on the wrong side.
She broke a nail that day.
Yeah.
Like, guys, you got to understand that women, like, they don't think like we do.
No.
So, like, they go off how they feel. So if they feel like crap that day, they're going to reject any guy that talks to them. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the times, I always say the way you meet a woman is more important than actually meeting her. So in other words, right? So, like, let's say you meet a chick on Tinder, because this has happened. Like, I'll match with a girl on Tinder, I'll message her, she won't respond. But guess what? She'll see me on like a website, like let's say like Seeking Arrangement or whatever, then she'll respond. Or you meet that same chick at a cocktail party, you know what I mean? Now she's all of a sudden receptive to you. So the thing is that the context in which you meet a woman matters a lot, guys.
Yes.
So if you meet her at a nightclub or a bar, she's not going to value that interaction the same as if like her friend had introduced you. Whereas like men, if she's hot and she's there, like, it doesn't matter how you meet her. You're going to be like, cool. Like, you're going to entertain it. But women don't think like that. They all want the fairy tale. Oh, I dropped my books and we walked into each other and he picked them up and whatever.
Chance meeting and all that.
Yeah, they want to have that fantasy and be able to tell their friends how they met you. This is why, like, if you look at a lot of girls like Tinder profiles, they're like, let's have a bet that you won't tell anyone how we met, because they know deep down that meeting a guy on a dating app, they look at it as less. There's some hot girls that will never be caught dead on Tinder, but you'll see them on Seeking or you'll see them on Bumble, whatever it may be. So women take a lot of stake in how they meet you, man. So once guys understand that, it's going to be a little bit easier to accept rejection, because you might have not met her under the correct pretenses, you know. Whereas like if you had met her through a friend or at a boat
at the
party,
library, or
exactly. So yeah,
listen, just like you said, girls just want to have fun, and they also want to have a cool story to tell. And there is a television show that is predicated on just that. It's called How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
And it's, I don't know, it's like 7 or 8 seasons, this elaborate story about how this kid's parents met. And girls don't want to tell, hey, well, how did you meet your husband? How'd you meet your boyfriend? Yeah, we met on Tinder. We met on Seeking Arrangements. Oh, so basically you were being a hoe and he happened to be in the right place at the right time. Girls don't want to have to say that. That's why they tell you, hey, don't tell people how we met. Let's make up a story. I was at the laundromat and one of my socks ended up getting mixed up with one of his socks. And it's always something, man.
They want a story, man. Like girls always want some kind of narrative, some fairy tale, whatever it may be. And it's hilarious too, because we all know that women are like painfully pragmatic when it comes to mate selection.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
Like that, shout out to Rollo Tomasi, man. He's so true about this, that, you know, men love idealistically and women love opportunistically.
Right.
And men are the true romantics. And the thing is, it's very true, because girls are always looking for a reason to disqualify you. And that's why they're so cutthroat with who they deal with in men.
Right.
And this is why, let's keep it real, so many men are just left out in the cold in the sexual marketplace. It's because women are so painfully cutthroat when it comes to who they deal with sexually. And like, they might be all about, oh yeah, equality, and you know, I'm all for everyone having their fun, or I love all races. But when they may select, oh no, he's got to be Chad, 6'3", tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
We're gonna take a brief intermission, probably 5 to 7 minutes, so we can get up, stretch out, get some water, drain the main vein, and all that good stuff. Dev, if you can put the timer up, we're not gonna come back in 15 minutes. It's probably gonna be 5 to 7 minutes. Dev's gonna mute the mics. And we've got a couple more voicemails that we're gonna take. We also have a few more questions to ask, so we'll be right back.
Stay tuned,
in
guys.
5 to 7. Stay tuned.
Stay
We'll be
tuned.
right back. to One-on-One with Donovan Sharpe. This is the series premiere, season 1, episode 1. I don't know how long I'm going to do these. I like this format, though. It's a lot of fun. It really, really is. So we're rounding third and heading for home. And so what we're going to do now, like I said, we're talking about girls' game, fitness, et cetera, et cetera. We've talked a lot about fitness. We have another question from Red Pill Mike on the voicemail side. This is actually a very good question. This is going to steer this conversation into a direction that we always end up going to with the black pillars. Go ahead and play it, Dev.
Hey, Donovan, it's RPM. I just have a question for you and Myron to elaborate on. My question basically is, why are there guys in the red pill community right now currently saying that if you approach a woman or you act like a PUA under any fashion, you're simping, when one of the very first things you should learn as you discover the red pill is that women aren't attracted to, or do they smash simps? Seems kind of counterintuitive to me. Hope you guys have a good show Saturday. I'll be tuning in.
Okay. So why is it that people in the RPC, the RP community, say that men who approach women are simps? What is that?
I mean, it comes down to, let's face it, man. These black pill guys, a lot of them are terrified of women. Yep. They're terrified of approaching. And I actually say it all the time. When I was talking with Rolo and John from Bulldog Mindset, shout out to both those guys. One of the biggest one of the root problems of all guys' issues with women is not working volume and being scared of approaching women, man. That is like 99% of the problem right there. Because if you don't get out there and talk to girls, you're not going to have leads. If you don't have leads, you're not going to get sex, and then you're going to be mad. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So black pillars will say and do anything to try to demonize approaching women.
Yes.
And the thing is this, guys. Here's the definition of a simp. A simp is a guy that rewards a woman, whether it's financially, through attention, whatever it may be, without her earning it. Okay? So, for example, you go out with a chick on a date and she's invested in you. She comes showing up hot, whatever it may be, and you buy her drinks. Well, she's invested in you, so you're basically reciprocating that investment back in her, and you're getting her drinks and showing her a good time, giving her your time, right? A simp is a dude that pays a chick $1,000 on OnlyFans because she's, showing her boobs, like, or like, sending a video or whatever. Simps fundamentally don't understand that your attention as a man is your only real weapon, and they give free attention to women that, quite frankly, don't deserve it. Approaching a woman and trying to have a man-to-woman interaction and trying to escalate it to some kind of romance, that's not simping. You know what I mean? Now, if she says, hey, I'm going to put you in the friend zone, you're really nice, and you accept that, and you actually continue to talk to her and give her free attention and validation without her reciprocating on her end and giving you romance, then you're a simp. But to simply approach a woman for the purposes of advancing some type of interaction from a romantic sense, that doesn't make you a simp, and quite frankly, it just speaks to how uninformed black pill guys are as far as like dealing with women, intersexual dynamics, or just being like human at all. So, okay, does that make you a simp if you're talking to men too? Like, come on, man. Like, these guys.
Listen, it's real simple. They pretend to despise what they can't do, right? And Rolo calls this, in a way, making your necessity a virtue. I'm not a simp because I don't approach women. No, your necessity is you're scared of women, so your necessity is to stay away from them.
Yep.
So what you're going to do is you're going to make that a virtue. Well, I don't approach women because I'm not a simp. I had sort of a quasi run-in with Turd Flinging Monkey a couple of years ago. It was ill-advised. I mean, and I completely cooked this dude. But looking back on it, it was something I shouldn't have done. I absolutely cooked his ass, and I shouldn't have done that. However, here was the issue. What he was doing is he was quite literally telling people that he was the hero because he decided to check out of the dating market, and that he was living a better life than me because he made the very difficult decision to have sex with an inanimate object. That somehow his life was superior. He had more manhood. He was living the better life because the thing that he has sex with doesn't have a pulse. Like, he is some sort of conquering hero, because he checked out of the dating market. Now, I still hold the beliefs that I believe. I shouldn't have cooked him, but that's what these black pill guys do. They make fun of us because they want to be us. Like this guy, what was his name? MGTOW Dictionary. This guy does
Laymanary.
The guy is incredible. I mean, I think he's like 46, 47 years old. He pays for prostitutes in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
But then he wants to tell us that we're somehow not killing the game.
We're beggars.
Yes, right. We're pee beggars. Dev, what do you have?
We got an alpha Chad in the house.
Oh, do we?
Oh, yes.
Who's the alpha Chad in the house? Who's that?
Uncomfortable Truth says, I cold approach and 7 out of 10 times close and have fun later.
Okay, well, he's dude, you need to start a YouTube channel and teach us how to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what you need to do, bro.
Like,
I'll pay you for a consult.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, Uncomfortable Truth, listen, I'm not trying to bag on the guy, but nobody closes 7 out of 10, Myron.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, Uncomfortable Truth, I mean, are you, and I'm not being funny here, but is there some sort of monetary money exchange? Because if you, and I give this example all the time, Myron, I think your numbers are the same. Back in my Vegas play days, if my Vegas player days, if I approached 10 women, I'd get 7 phone numbers. That's if you're good.
That's
okay.
if you're good.
I approached 10 girls. I get this was later on after I had learned everything. You approach 10 girls, you get 7 phone numbers. Of the 7 girls I text, 4 will respond. Of those 4 that will respond, 2 will agree to a meetup, and at least one of them will flake. Mm-hmm. So now I have one opportunity to get lucky. Mm-hmm. If I close that one, that 10 to 7 to 4 to 2 to 1, if I close that one, I am king ding-a-ling.
Yeah.
You said it yourself earlier in the podcast. The top guys out here are closing 10%. Paul Janka has a legendary closing percentage of 11%. That's unheard of.
Yeah, dude.
But this guy, Uncomfortable Truth, would have us believe that he closes 7 out of 10 approaches.
And here's the thing, like this is why I say real recognize real. Like shout out to Lucario, Solo TV, all these guys. Like when I talk with guys that are good with women, there's certain characteristics that guys that are good with women exhibit.
That's right.
And one of them is the fundamental understanding that you got to work a lot of volume to be good with women.
Right.
Like that's non-negotiable. So when guys say stuff like that, it's one of two things. Either you're tricking or you live in a country, like in a third world country where you're like a god, you know what I mean? I always say like running third world game, I'm in Colombia, I'm in Philippines, I'm in Eastern Europe. Game. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You become in Thailand, whatever it may be. No knock against guys that do it, Brazil, etc.
Right.
Like dude, do it because yes, you're gonna have beautiful women that are feminine and not poisoned with a lot of the, the same bad habits that we have here in the West. But you know what I'm saying? You can't sit here and try to teach guys how to get first world girls when you're slamming third world chicks, because what you guys got to understand is that when you go to a third world country as an American citizen, a Canadian, an Australian, whatever it may be,
I'd close 7 out of 10 too.
Yeah, you're gonna have such high perceived status that your inadequacies are gonna basically be, no one's gonna look at it.
Yeah, they will be non-factors.
Non-factors,
dude.
Versus when you're in the United States and you're dealing with a chick that makes $100,000 a year, or she's successful and she doesn't need your provisioning,
or she's hot,
or she's attractive. Guess what, buddy? You're not gonna do as well dealing with chicks that have their own stuff and are looking at you from the AF side, not the BB side, beta buck side. So it's the competition is much harder in the West. This is why so many guys leave the United States. And like I said, I'm not knocking guys that go to Colombia or wherever it may be to deal with women. However, you cannot sit here and advise men that are in the West on how to deal with chicks when you're in a third world country where your perceived status is through the stratosphere, dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and a lot of people say that about MLD. They say, "Oh, you couldn't get laid in America, so you went to
Japan's a first
Japan."
world country.
Exactly. Right. And listen, racism against white guys, I'll probably get banned for. Well, actually, no. If I say racism against white guys, then YouTube might push me to. Anyway,
Yeah, they might get pushed out.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But racism against white people in Japan is real.
Yeah.
There are battles he has to fight. Getting laid in Japan is not easy.
Not easy.
John is not out there running third world game because, like you said, Japan is a first world country.
Yep. And it's racist. Like you guys, people that say that about John, he gets turned away from restaurants all the time. They'll like literally tell him, "We don't serve your kind here," and kick him out, dude.
Unbelievable. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. So like when people say that, I'm like, bro, you have no idea. Like Japan is very, Asian countries in general, they don't care, man. But yeah, he gets kicked out of restaurants all the time. You know, they call him like a filthy gaijin or whatever because he's an American there, and they're like, get out, and they'll like
That's because he's banging all their women.
Pretty much.
That's the reason why.
Probably,
Dev, you got something.
Our family on Sharp Stream is hilarious.
Oh, so what do we got on Sharp Stream?
Dre Raven says, is he using chloroform?
Ay. Chloroform game. Yeah, I
7
closed 7 out of 10 with the
7
chloroform.
out of 10. Yeah, get out of here, bro. People that are pulling those kinds of numbers are celebs, or they're in a in a third world country or something like that.
Now, if he's using chloroform, I would say 70% is probably low.
Yeah,
if you're using chloroform, you should be in the 90s. Yeah, it should be in the 90s. What's
Come on,
up?
man? You're not trying hard enough.
What do you got,
MD Godfather says, uncomfortable truth is a level 5 janitor, too. Leave some for the rest of us.
No. Listen, there's a dude who said he was a level 4 janitor, and everybody bagged on him for it. But that's a real accomplishment, believe it or not. If you're a level 4 janitor, I'm not saying that's like a CEO, but that's nothing to sneeze at. I had to do some. So the level 4 janitor, I forgot what the guy's name is. Like you're definitely one of my heroes. Reasonable Monday with the 20 euros says, Uncle Donovan, you're epic, and I push men to you as often as I can. Thank you for being a lifesaver. I greatly appreciate that. Somebody asked Uncomfortable Truth in the chat where he lived. He says, not trying to be the alpha Chad, but I'm 6'4", 225, have good game and make good money. I don't have time for all 7, but I have the choice. I'm 36, look 29 in the face. I'm not trying to be alpha Chad. Again, even with
7 out of 10 means he closed. So he's probably like saying,
are you talking about number closing? He's
yeah.
in Dallas. Dude, I think he's talking about number closing.
Number closing doesn't mean anything.
Yes, getting a girl's number doesn't mean shit. Right?
Nothing.
I just sat here and told you I got 7 girls' phone numbers. I mean, dude, 2 of them are gonna flake on me, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not all. I think what he's talking about.
He's probably talking about number closing.
I think he has to.
And no offense, bro, but it's not 2002. Number closes don't mean anything anymore. Remember, Mystery used to push that, get a number close or a K close.
But that was 02, 03. That's when numbers meant something. But now everybody gives out.
Dude, it means nothing. Like chicks. I don't even know if we want to get into that, but yeah, number closing means nothing, man. It's. Here's the thing, and going back to Red Pill Mike's question about black pillars and everything like that.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, we have no issues with MGTOWs, okay? MGTOWs got it right. Their assessment of the current marketplace and how things are, spot on, man.
Yep.
Literally, men are 100%, ostracized in the family courts, everything like that. Getting married in today's day and age is very dangerous. So their assessment of the problems is correct. However, I don't necessarily agree with how to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, if you want to leave the marketplace, that's fine. You know what I mean? I completely understand if a guy wants to go monk mode, focus on himself, whatever it may be, cool. But don't sit here, man, and lie to yourself and say, I went my own way, when in reality, you got sent your own way, bro.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because, there are some MGTOWs that got their stuff together that are
Absolutely.
they're actually choosing to leave the marketplace. But there's a bunch of other guys, let's keep it real, neck beards, fats, overweight, don't have their money right, playing video games all day, watching porn religiously. You guys, you got sent your own way. That's
right.
the reality. And here's the thing, guys. Unfortunately, women don't care that you're not in the marketplace because they're only dealing with, I would argue nowadays, that the women are dealing with probably around the top 15 to top 10% of men.
Probably
not
less
even
than
20
that.
anymore. Yeah. So, with the globalized sexual marketplace, because we talk about Instagram all the time. As you guys know, I'm 30 years old. I'm in the game. I'm in Miami, one of the most competitive places. So Instagram is real, guys.
That's right.
It is online dating and dating apps and social media in general is real, guys. There are dudes that, my boy, Fresh Prince CEO, he literally gets all his leads from Instagram. So
wow, does it really?
Which is incredible. You know what I mean? So
he needs to come up with a course, dude.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna make one.
There it is.
We're working on one right now. We're making one right now. But the point is, guys, is that times have changed. The MGTOW assessment of what's going on is correct. But to sit there and say, "Oh, I'm leaving the marketplace," when in reality you were never in to begin with,
right?
You know what I mean? Don't lie to yourself, man.
And here's another thing. And let's make sure we make this distinction. Not all MGTOWs are created equal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We've got MGTOWs who are living that life, like Coach Greg Adams. He's living that free agent lifestyle.
For sure.
He's a MGTOW. Joker, that dude is a MGTOW. That dude is building a bus. He's going to be off the grid. He is living that life. But then there are your lower level MGTOWs.
Yes.
And You low-level MGTOWs, or I'll put it to you this way: you guys are those are the black pillars, right?
Yeah, exactly. Guys like MGTOW Dictionary that are paying for prostitutes.
There you go.
On one hand, then on the other hand, getting on 8-hour streams saying they hate women. A lot of these guys, what they do is they go to these third world countries, they pay for sex, they get prostitutes. So and they can't get women through natural attraction.
Right.
So obviously they're going to be jaded because they're seeing the worst side of hypergamy.
There you go, of course.
They're literally making a sexual transaction. So yes, of course they're going to be mad and jaded because they have to pay to get female attraction, and that's going to piss anybody off. So the fact that and you cannot base all women on your skewed perception of what's going on in your life because of your own low sexual market value. Because at the end of the day, women are very honest assessors of where you stand in the social totem pole.
They're accurate. They know.
You know, if you're a loser, the sexual marketplace is going to let you know you're a loser. Guess what? Through involuntary celibacy. So if you're a winner, you're probably going to get rewarded by being so. Because there's ugly guys, people that say, oh, looks, money, status is everything. There are ugly guys that have a clout that get more chicks than all of us. So truly, I'm not saying a female's validation puts you, says where you are in the world. But what I am saying is that women coming after you typically is a byproduct of you being successful. So
listen, guys who say looks, money, status is all that matters, those are the same. Listen, these are the same guys. It's exactly the same as a woman who says all guys want are these skinny supermodel hot girl 9s and 10s. What they're doing is they're using, well, it just takes looks, money, and status to get girls as an excuse not to improve themselves. Yeah. Because what they're going to tell themselves internally, well, if it's looks, money, status, I'm never going to be a celebrity. I'm not really that easy on the eyes. And even if I get in shape, that doesn't guarantee anything. So I'm going to check out of the dating market. Yep. This is why we got a bunch of fat girls walking around. They tell themselves all guys want are these skinny little twiglets as an excuse not to stop eating fucking cheeseburgers at midnight and hitting the gym. Yep. It's a lazy person's approach. Going back to what you were saying, or going back to what I was saying about MGTOWs, there are a lot of people in MGTOW's ranks that make the MGTOW sector look bad. Yeah. The top level, the main MGTOW guys, the guys who actually live the life, the guys who actually have something to contribute, those are the real MGTOWs. Yep. The bottom level MGTOWs are the guys who bitch and moan all the time. They go after other red pill guys. And the last thing I'll say is this, is that low level MGTOWs, they love to tell the world, I'm going my own way. Yeah. I've checked out of the dating market. You'll never see me anymore. Myron, these girls don't care. They weren't looking at you in the first place.
Exactly, man.
So they're like, well, good riddance. We weren't really looking at y'all anyway. Toodaloo. That's how it is, man.
Women don't even see the reality. You got cold hard reality, man. Women don't see like 90% of men. You know what I'm saying? So like they didn't even know you guys existed. And here's the thing. Like I like to use the example like Coach Greg Adams, Joker, etc. Like these guys are choosing to leave the marketplace.
That's right.
Obviously, they got their life together. They got their money right, whatever it may be. So it's MGTOW when you choose to leave the marketplace. But when you were never in it to begin with, bro, how are you going to, you know what I'm saying? Like you weren't even in it. So it is what it is, man. And guys, they use that banner to kind of rationalize their failures in life with women. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. So you're MGTOW only if you have the option of dealing with women and you're choosing to refrain.
Right. We got to make up a new acronym. There is MGTOWs, men going their own way, and men who got sent their own way.
Facts.
So MGTOW, I don't know.
Something like that.
But I agree. There's a distinction.
Yeah.
There are some, listen, there are a lot of men who don't date. Some men choose not to date. Some men, the choice got made for them. Big thanks goes out to Al with the $2 super chat. He's this guy. He says it's more like 100% of the women go for the top 5%. Now, that is defeatist thinking, my friend. You are giving yourself an excuse not to improve yourself as men. I'll never be a top 5%er because 100% of women are going for the top 5%. That is patently false. Now, I will give him credit for this. Women are delusional, right? Yeah. And in terms of like the real raw numbers, I would say that 80% of the women compete for the top 20% of men, right? Mm-hmm. But guess what? Half of those 80% know they have no business really messing with the top 20%. Yep. So they'll expand their sort of coverage area to maybe the top 30. As they get older, the top 40, and then the top 50. Al, you've got $2 to donate to me in Super Chat. You can't tell me you can't get into the top 30, 35%. Listen, man, it ain't going to be easy. Like, you can't just wake up and say, all right, I'm in the top XYZ%. You got to make yourself that person. And I don't know where I stand as far as the hierarchy is concerned, but I'm a top 10%er. And the reason for that is because of my income. That's what makes me a top 10%er. But a lot of guys say, well, most women, all women, like this guy Al just said, they only go for the top 5% of men. Dude, you're the
He didn't finish the sentence. Like, yeah, they would love to be with
Of
the
course,
top 5%.
of course.
But guess what? They're not going to get that top 5%er. So
They're delusional,
you know what
Myron,
I mean?
but
Yes,
they're not
they are.
that delusional.
Exactly,
They're not
yeah.
that delusional.
Exactly.
They have to keep it real with themselves. Dude, a fat girl walking down the street, I don't even know what city we're in. We're somewhere in New Jersey. A fat girl walking down the street sees a guy like you or me. She's like, you know what? I'd really like to bang that guy, but I know I don't have a chance.
Yeah.
Let me widen my berth a little bit. So 100%, listen, guess what? 100% of guys would love to bang the top 1% of girls. We know that's not going to happen either. Yep. So you make adjustments and you improve yourself.
Exactly, yeah. So, no, I mean, he's right. Yeah, like, yeah, 100% of women would love to get with the top 5%, but guess what? They're not. A lot of them aren't capable. So
that's how it is, man.
It is what it is.
Red Pill Mike, another $10 super chat.
Thank you so much, bro. You support the crap out of us,
dude. I swear to God, I need to add up his super chats because if I did, I think it would be a scary
every
number.
time I'm on, she's like $100, whatever. We're doing a 7. Thank you, bro. Like, seriously,
every time he gets all of my courses for life. Like that guy he's unbelievable. Anyway, Red Pill Mike lives in Dallas, Fort Worth. He says it's not hard to get women in Dallas, and even easier in Fort Worth. I didn't learn true game until I spent 5 years in Chicago and got blown out consistently. Geography does matter. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been to Dallas as well. I mean, there's more obese women there. They don't have as many hot girls as like Miami or Phoenix. But that guy's saying 7 out of 10 is still that's ridiculous. He's crazy.
Now, he actually, uncomfortable truth with a $5 super chat says, Donovan, you are right. I was speaking on cold approaching, and I do get 7 out of 10 numbers. Now, out of that 7 numbers, I get ice, smash, has, no. Okay, so he approaches 10 women.
Yep.
Let's give him the lower half. He approaches 10 women. He smashes 3 out of 10. Okay. All right. That's a little more reasonable. Yeah. I still think the number is a little bit inflated.
It is, because if you were to expand that over 100 girls, 1,000 girls, whatever, it
would creep down.
It's going to go way down, dude. Yeah. It's going to go way down.
Listen, and let's not get it twisted here. Getting 7 numbers out of 10 girls in 2020.
Great.
Right. That's not easy to do. And, so if he gets that. So, I mean, listen, it's just like the calorie thing. Well, I probably eat 2,500 calories a day. If we had the scientists feeding him. Right. If we get the scientists feeding him the numbers, okay, you're at about 12%.
Facts.
Not the 70%.
Yeah, we're not here to knock you, bro, but just like we know the numbers, like it is what it is. You know what
we've
I'm
been
saying?
out here
like,
in these streets, man. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. Toriano Rich with the $3 super chat says, you need to be the prize, not just say you are. I like that. Very, very good. Tom A with the $5 super chat says, men, he says, MGTOW, men getting thrown out of whack. Wow. That's a good one. Clarence W, $5 Canadian says, every woman I've met wanted kids, as in okay looking guy. It's defeating. Man, dude. Every woman he meets wants. Well, that's because women instinctively want kids, right?
He might, yeah. Also, he's probably dating older chicks that are in their epiphany phase. And he probably makes I always say this, man. Like, women are gonna treat you based on how they perceive you. So if you come off as like a nice guy that has excess resources, that could be a good dad, they're gonna angle right away to try to get a relationship out of you, and they're gonna leverage sex. But if you come in and you're like a bad boy, like, clearly you're terrible. The Sandbergian mating strategy.
Yes,
that Rolo talks about all the time.
The bad boys, the cool boys, and then settle down. Yeah.
So if you come off as like a dude that like clearly is experienced with women, whatever it may be, then she's gonna know it's just gonna be quick sex with you and nothing else. So if women are trying to angle for a relationship with you or say I want to have kids, you might be giving off too much of a nice guy vibe.
PCB with the $5 super chat says, I feel like an alpha when I step onto the basketball court like an Allen Iverson. How do I bring that confidence into other areas of life? Wow, that's a very good question.
So basically, man, the same confidence you take when you shoot those shots, you got to have that same confidence when you go and meet the chicks, man. And you got to understand that, obviously a top tier 3-point shooter in the NBA is around 40%.
Yeah.
Dude, you're going to shoot way less than that with chicks. So you got to get out there and basically shoot at the free throw line a Shaq.
Right. I was going to say, if we're going to use basketball terms, you don't need to approach girls like Allen Iverson. You might want to approach them like maybe a Stephen Curry. Right?
Yeah.
Like Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter in NBA history. But that's a good question. Now, I've actually got sort of a hack. This is something I did about year 4 or 5 when I was in Vegas. And I forgot it was on a PUA blog. It's probably Return of Kings. What you do to sort of psych yourself into not really a false bravado or false confidence, but you have to imagine that you have $1 million in your pocket. If you knew you had $1 million in cash in your pocket and you walked into a bar or went to the club, how would you walk? You'd walk like you got a 17-inch dick, wouldn't you? Right?
Yep.
And that carries over. So you almost have to sort of trick your mind into, and again, don't be overconfident. Just understand. And having $1 million in your pocket, Myron, guess what? Every man is born with $1 million in your pocket. You're a man. Yeah. Life is awesome for men, even if you're not in the top 5, 10%. Dude, men who are in the top 60% live far better lives than women who are in the top 10%. Women in the top 10% are getting banged and bounced on all the time. They're freaking miserable. They're always bouncing from guy to guy. Chad didn't call me back. Keith is married. Anthony doesn't want to talk to him anymore. They're always miserable, no matter how much fun their life looks like on Instagram. Women are miserable. The late great Patrice O'Neal said it best. Women are miserable. If you are in the top 60% of men, you are living a better life than the top 10, 5, 1% of women. That's what I say.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, as a guy, the burner of performance is on you. So if you're a performer, life's going to be awesome. But if you're like going to sit around and watch porn and play video games all day, then yeah, you're going
to be fucking miserable.
You're going to be, it's going to suck for you.
Ralph E. with the $10 super chat. And Dev, let's go ahead and cue up the last voicemail call. Says, real MGTOWs are actually bachelors and still deal with women. They're, quote, going their own way from the third-party contract. Those that got sent their own way aren't MGTOW, but incel black pill. We need to coin something. We really need to come up with something about men going their own way, maybe men sent their own way, MS-TOW. I don't know.
MS-TOW.
Yeah, MS-TOW, Miss-TOW. We'll figure something out there. Listen, incel, black pill. And here's the thing, Myron. I've always said that there's really no such thing as an incel, an involuntary celibate. And the reason I say that is because you could be like MGTOW Dictionary isn't an incel. You want to know why? Because he pays for sex.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And believe it or not, there are counties in Nevada, Nye County, Story County, in Nevada, I may or may not have said that out loud, you can pay for sex. Yep. The freaking Bunny Ranch, the world famous Bunny Ranch.
Yep. You
can go there and you can pay for sex. But then they say, well, I don't want to pay for sex. I want it to mean something. Okay, so do you want to get laid or do you want to catch feelings, right?
Yeah.
They've got feelings for girls. They're not banging you. Would you rather have feelings for the girl without the sex, or would you rather have the sex without the feelings? It's like you can't satisfy these guys. What are your thoughts on those guys?
And here's the other thing too, man. Like, guys, be careful when you consume any type of like angry black pill, MGTOW content, because the thing is, man, is that especially if you want to get good with women, you can't hold resentment towards them. Because here's the thing: if you watch that kind of angry MGTOW content, and then you go and you try to meet chicks, they're gonna feel that anger permeating from you. Like, because let's call a spade a spade. A lot of these guys are just misogynists on the internet.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what it is. They genuinely hate women.
They genuinely hate women. And I agree with Rolo on this 100%. We're better together than we are apart, man. You know, men and women are different, and we complement each other. And
Camera Dev.
Obviously, we've been able to create this amazing society with men and women working together. So. Don't watch that content, guys. It's going to make it actually much harder for you to deal with women because you're going to carry this resentment. And like I say all the time, women are very socially calibrated. So if you come off as like some kind of weird dude, or you're like awkward around women, or you're like a misogynist, they're going to feel it right away. They're not going to want to deal with you. So
Fresh Prince CEO, $5.
Hey,
shout out to Donovan Myron. Thanks for doing this fire live show. Reasonable Monday, as Devin's other boyfriend is texting her. Please turn that off. Thank you. Reasonable Monday, I make fun of her all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime her phone goes up, be like, listen, tell him you'll be home later, or tell him you'll text him when you're in the bathroom.
It's the dog walker.
The dog walker.
Dog walker.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Tell the dog walker I said thanks. Reasonable Monday with the 10 euros. I greatly appreciate that. All right, Dev, let us listen to the last and final voicemail box call, and I think this is from Clarence in Canada. This is a very good question.
Hey, Don and Dev. It's Clarence W. I'm from Canada. So my question is, with the way everything's going with this whole feminist movement, the whole left, attacking traditional nuclear families, where do you guys see things going in, let's say, 15, 20, even 25 years? Is the pendulum going to swing to the other side, or are we just going to keep devolving as a society? I'm kind of interested in this, so thanks for the show. You guys are awesome, and keep up the great work.
Question.
That is a very good question. And you're a young, now I'm 13 years older than you are. I'm 43, you're 30. We are literally a generation apart. And again, I shouted out John last night when I did the trial show. It would appear that we are starting to get some national attention. I was invited onto the Dr. Phil show. I gave him the double middle fingers. That's never going to happen. Roosh was on Dr. Oz. Like, people are starting to really get it. Anthony Johnson was on Piers Morgan a while back talking about his event. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that, and I guess that's a good question, what does the nuclear family look like in 25 years? When Myron Gaines is 55 years old, right? Still slaying Miami hoes at the ripe old age of 55. Is the nuclear family going to be better off than it is now? Or does it have to get worse before it gets better?
So this is an excellent question. And honestly, I don't see it getting worse. I don't see it getting better with the nuclear family.
Right.
I think we're going to keep going down this path of high divorces, low marriage rates, low birth rates. It's going to continue. And a reason why it's going to continue, I know you guys like to blame women all the time, but the reality is I don't blame the women. Guys are going to wake up.
Ooh.
And guys are going to start to realize that committing to a lot of these women is dangerous. You know, because what Dr. Phil's invite signifies to me is that they're watching.
Yes.
They're watching. They probably studied your content for a while, probably some other content creators as well. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they possibly might have asked other people to come on.
Oh, yeah.
So they're definitely watching this stuff. And what and the thing is this, more and more men are waking up. As less and less men get sexual access to women because of the globalized sexual marketplace that we're in today, where I think sub 15% of guys are actually getting action from women nowadays.
You know what? I agree with you. I agree with you. So what you're saying is that better than 85, or you're saying 80 out of every 100 men, only 15 are getting laid. So 85 out of every 100 men are not getting laid. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I would say because the thing is that, and again, because I'm in the game, guys. So like I'm dealing with these girls, and the thing is this. The marketplace has made it where women now have access to high value men all the time. So a girl, and here's, you know what was a huge red pill for me? I used to see this chick for a bit, and I asked her, hey, let me just see, like, just out of curiosity, because we were just seeing each other. Like, she was not my girl. I was like, and I was like, you know, trying to collect this information. Can I see your DMs? Dude, athlete, blue check mark, celebrity, blah, 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 soccer player, whatever it may be. Jesus. And in my head, I'm like, wow, if this is going on, so like, you know, any attractive girl is getting this kind of attention from high value guys, it's no wonder that so many guys are getting left out in the cold in the sexual marketplace. Now, as more guys get left out in the sexual marketplace, they're not getting access to women, whatever, they find content like this.
There you go. They seek solutions.
Right? They seek solutions. Men are deductive problem solvers. So they go on Google, why is it so hard to find a girl or whatever? You know, they find The Rational Male. They find your podcast. They find me, MLD, whatever it may be, Modern Life Dating, whatever it may be. Rich Cooper, Entrepreneurs and Cars, shout out to him. Like, they're going to find these guys, and then they're going to start to connect the dots on why it's so difficult to deal with women. And then they're going to have to make a decision. Am I going to rise to the occasion and get better?
There you go.
And become a top 15% or top 20% or whatever it may be? Or am I just going to leave the marketplace? And quite frankly, a lot of guys are like, screw it, it's not worth it.
Right.
So, or they'll pay for sex or whatever it may be. So as more men wake up and figure out that marriage is a bad deal, that things are not skewed in their favor, that women pretty much dominate the relationship market. They are the buyers and everything, and we're the sellers. And they only buy from a small percentage of men. Guys are going to start, waking up, and it's just going to change the marketplace. And when guys wake up, they're going to realize a nuclear family is not in their best interest.
Yes.
And that is why I think the nuclear family in general is probably going to continue to dwindle. And then feminism is only going to get stronger. You know what I mean? So with all these things going on, I think the nuclear family it's going to be a rarity soon.
No, I agree. Dr. Phil not only reached out to me, he reached out to Rollo, and he reached out to Sandman.
Really?
Yes. And
that tells you they're watching your guys' content.
Of course they are.
They've been studying for months probably too.
Man, listen, here's the thing, man.
Wow.
The mainstream has been aware of the red pill movement for a while.
Yeah.
But because of the marginalization of who we are, they think that we're just a bunch of angry, sexless neckbeards, whatever. They held this belief for years and years and years. Okay, they're not really a threat to anybody. But then they really started watching and said, wait a minute, this guy Donovan Sharpe actually has himself together.
Yep.
He's Myron Gaines is he's a good looking guy. Wait a minute. We thought that the red pill movement was a bunch of fat, angry neckbeards on 4chan who watch video games and porn all the time. Yep. So what they figured out is that, wait a minute, the top guys actually have themselves together. We need to squash this threat because clearly guys like MGTOW Dictionary, he isn't shit. They're not worried about him. They don't want
won't even show his face on camera.
No, of course not. They don't want to talk to him. They don't even want to talk to Turd Flinging Monkey.
Yeah.
And I hate to keep bringing that guy up, but he's the king of the incels. They don't want to talk to TFM because TFM doesn't matter.
Surprised they invited Sandman.
Well, Sandman and TFM, I think, are a lot alike, but I do like Sandman's delivery. TFM is as good as they come. Like he's intelligent, but he's pompous about it.
Yeah.
He fucks a sex doll. Like, you can't be pompous and like, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, he's not a threat. Sandman has great delivery. Rollo Tomasi is obviously the godfather of the red pill. I'm this hot, fiery, tempery guy, but I know what I'm talking about. The fact that they're reaching out to some of the top guys, this means that they see us as an existential threat. They wouldn't bring us on if we weren't a threat. What they want to do is they want to try to bring us on and effectively distinguish that threat. They want me to come on to marginalize me, get me to blow up. Oh, you see, the angry misogynist rears his ugly head. That's what I think. As far as the nuclear family, I agree with you. Yeah. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I think that the truth about women in a quote unquote red pill sense, I think it is definitely going to go mainstream sooner than later. That much I know for sure.
It's already come. Like my little brother, he's 18. Like these younger guys are even getting it, because the internet, and he's right. I've educated him about all the intersexual dynamics, whatever it may be, but it was very easy to teach him. Like he was already kind of aware on it. Like if you go on Twitch and these girls are like streaming, showing their boobs or whatever, trying to, as they call them, Twitch thoughts. Shout out to John. The guys are calling dudes in their simps. So
wow, no shit.
Yeah, man.
Oh wow.
These young boys are kind of aware, man. So I think, like I said, more guys are gonna wake up. They're gonna realize that marriage is a bad deal, and they're not gonna. If they do choose to deal with women, it's gonna be on a recreational basis, and they're not gonna commit to them or take them serious. And unfortunately, when you have a lot of casual sex, when you have a lot of casual sex, families don't get made, nuclear families don't get made, and that's just what happens. So the birth rates are declining, marriage rates are declining.
Yeah.
So
families get made, just not the kind that.
Oh yeah,
that
terrible families.
Yeah, terrible families. Yeah, well, families that are nuclear instead of nuclear families. Right. Tom May with a $20 super chat says, "Fear, false evidence appearing real. That's the black pillar's problem." Fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. That is the comment of the night.
Yeah, that's good.
He says, courage is what Donovan and Myron are platforming. Courage in the face of fear is the only fight men need to take seriously. Slay the dragon, get the girl. Wow, very well put, man. Very well put. Truchino with the $10 super chat says, coming off the sidelines, DS, staying on my purpose, focused on my objectives, and using the RP toolbox to maneuver during this 2020 climate. Congratulations on Studio B. Keep pushing. Thank you very much. Timius Maximus, I guess he's from Greece.
Yeah, he's Australian.
Oh, okay. All right. 10 Australian dollars. He says, salute, gentlemen. Appreciate that. Clarence W.
Thank you, Timmy.
Clarence W. in California says, thanks for discussing my question. That's the guy we're talking about now. It says, very good insight. Keep up the TRP work. Respect. Chris Pog says, Myron speaks fact. Seen him work game in person. Fellas, he knows his stuff, applies, and shares with the fellas. Great show, Donovan. Well, this has been a hell of a show, man. This is... I mean, and like I said, when I came to pick you up, we're like, dude, like we talked about this months ago, and it's actually here. I can't believe it.
Awesome.
How did it go, man? I mean, how was this?
This was great, man. I mean, guys, I say it all the time. Donovan's one of the hardest working guys in the industry, man. And, it shows, we're using... These are expensive mics, guys. These are really good. These are really good boom arms. Obviously he's got all the cameras set up here.
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic, man. He has definitely spared no expense with making sure that you guys get a awesome podcast quality here. And I mean, hell, after this is done, guys, I'm gonna actually study how he has it set up so I can have my setup in Miami, and I'm gonna bring Donovan up to Miami.
Oh, there we go.
We're down to Miami, and we're gonna do another show down there as well.
Oh yeah, that'll be awesome, dude.
So yeah, man. I mean, this is he's a number one podcaster in this sphere for a reason, guys. And this is awesome, dude. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for
putting me up and everything.
Hey, come on, man. I flew you down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't want you to think that you were like an Instagram. Okay, listen, I'm gonna fly you out. I shouldn't say it that way, right? But yeah, this was a lot of fun, man. And I think the reason why I decided to do this is because it's one thing to see different content creators on the same screen. It has a different, much more profound effect to see them in the same room with one
And which
another.
reminds me, actually, I have a gift.
Oh, okay. Well, I did not see this coming.
I got a brown paper bag here, as you guys can see.
Oh, word. Let's see what this is.
Let's see what's in here. Whoa.
Oh, my God. Look at the size of that bottle. Holy
That thing
Jesus.
is huge, right? That's what she
my
said.
God. Jesus freaking. Dude, I've never seen a bottle of. I have never seen Knob Creek this freaking big. This is incredible.
And of course, I got the vodka for Miss Devin as well.
Oh, yeah. That
And
is
thank
poison
you.
of
low
choice.
calorie.
Wow, very good. He thought about the calories. Jesus freaking Christ.
Yeah, man. When you guys show up, you got to bring gifts, man. And I got Donovan a shirt too, so he's got to wear it on one of the shows.
Yes. I will wear it tomorrow on the 7. Wow, holy moly. Thank God, dude. Dude, the size of this bottle. Dude, how many? Dude, it's gonna take me forever to get
Are
through
we
this.
getting
Man.
turned up tonight?
Yes, we're getting turned. Listen,
You guys are
listen
going to
us
see
try
some
sound
night
like
game
the kids.
from Myron.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, we're actually headed over to. We're going to a really nice steakhouse afterwards. But yeah, listen, thanks for the gift, man.
Thank you for having me, dude. I always bear gifts. I met Lucario like a month ago. I brought him his favorite liquor and a shirt too, man. So if you invite me, I got you.
You're getting clothes and booze. Do
Yeah.
not forget
Pretty
that.
much if I show up.
But this I think can be definitely revolutionary. And what I wanted to do, and listen, collaborations between content creators are great.
It's awesome.
But I think it's very important this isn't to marginalize getting in front of a camera and getting on StreamYard or on YouTube or whatever the case may be. But I think when people see us together physically, I think it has a profound effect on people. I think it motivates people. And really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to sort of change the narrative. I'm trying to let people understand that, hey, these guys take this seriously. I don't just have a smartphone and opinion. I get on and I parrot and just talk a bunch of junk. No, I believe in what I'm doing, man, and that's exactly why I do this. But yeah, listen, thank you very, very much for coming on, man. Any last
Thanks for
words?
having me.
Where can the people find you?
So yeah, man. Thank you, Donovan, again for having me on. You guys
Absolutely.
can find me on Instagram, my Instagram, my Twitter, my website. Everything is Unplug Fit. Unplug Fit. You can find me on my website, unplugfit.com, if you want to book a consultation, whether it's game or fitness. I am taking on clients right now for fitness training, but I also do one-on-one consults to help you with, dealing with chicks, whatever it may be. And then my Patreon, I just made it with my boy Fresh Prince CEO, where we're putting a bunch of like good content as far as like how to deal with girls in Miami, the contemporary dating marketplace, IG game, online dating, all that stuff. On patreon.com/freshandfit. We got a bunch of videos up there uploaded right now. And we have our podcast on Thursdays at 6 p.m., the Fresh and Fit podcast. But yeah, man, our last post was the top 5 reasons she belongs to the streets, which we could not share on YouTube. But it's really good stuff, man. So get on the Patreon. It's only $5. Don't be a cheapskate. Learn how to deal with chicks. Patreon.com/freshandfit. Donovan, thank you so much for having me, dude.
You the man, dude. Appreciate it. A couple more super chats.
Okay,
VMAD,
let's do it.
$10 says, the new studio is Boss DS. Big ups to Myron, to the smooth operator. They are definitely watching. Coach Greg Adams and Better Bachelor is next. I'm working on them both. Greg Adams will be here November the 14th, so I'm looking forward to that. The Marfuki man with another $50 super chat says, to the guys winning, I'm a successful 29-year-old cabinet installer who has a great nest egg from remodeling and flipping a house. Yes, I'm chubby, but I have the gift of gab and charisma and no problem meeting women. I stay in my league and am happy. That, my friends, is what it's all about. Myron, thank you very much for coming on, man. This was a lot of fun. That's going to do it from Studio B. This is the first official episode of One-on-One with Donovan Sharpe. We are going to go and have a big, juicy steak, and I will see you guys tomorrow night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern for the 7. Peace out.
There, guys.